This is a clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center once again now on this early Friday morning. We're tracking a very serious situation around Pensacola. I know we came on earlier for that statewide type of situation where we needed to go ahead and talk about this concern out here in the western Florida Panhandle because it's becoming a big deal in terms of a tornado threat. Now we have this training rainfall over this area, and we're having a life-threatening flash flood situation above here. I know it brings back memories, unfortunately, for folks around here of 2014, where they just dealt with so significant of flooding there. And now we're talking about just moisture, just like a fire hose coming on in toward that region. I know already a deadly night there toward Pensacola. WAR TV there, the ABC affiliate in the Pensacola area reporting one person did die when a tree fell in their home, maybe from a tornado. So we'll see if that gets confirmed by surveyors there at the National Weather Service at Mobile ultimately. But it seemed like we had a tornado situation above in toward that region. And you see this heavy rain falling right now in towards some of these areas that just don't need it because they've gotten so much tonight. I know this flash flood emergency for now is specifically for West Pensacola, but they're saying the situation's rapidly deteriorating, it looks like, toward Pensacola proper as the rain is just unrelenting here. These reds indicate the heavy downpours and they've been going on for a while. Just looping this over the last little bit, you can see how they really haven't slacked off too much, maybe a little bit here or there, but overall the rain is just really piling in, and it's become a big story here, not just for those local viewers for that area, really, but it's a story that we need to bring to the whole state, the whole region here, the whole nation, to be quite honest, because this is becoming a big time problem there around Pensacola there. So this really serious stuff as we're looking toward Escambia County, Florida right now. The rain is just unrelenting here. I know there's even a tornado warning out toward Baldwin County, Alabama, just toward the north and west, and we've been watching some rotation toward our areas here off the coast and toward the coast, but no local warnings right now. We'll get to that here as needed. But again, a really serious situation toward Pensacola, a flash flood emergency. I'll read a statement to you there. At about 12:05 a.m. local time, Central Time, intense rainfall has resulted in gauge reports between 10 and 12 inches really there across West Pensacola through the Warrenton area and into Gulf Breeze, Florida. Additional rainfall amounts to 3 to 5 inches are possible. Flash flooding is already occurring, and inundation of homes and swiftwater rescues in low-lying areas will be possible over the next few hours as flood waters rapidly rise. So not what you want to hear as we're looking toward Pensacola, West Pensacola there, Warrenton, Gulf Breeze, Golden, Brownsville, Florida, Beach Haven, Myrtle Grove. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Seek higher ground now. I know that tornado warning toward Baldwin County we were looking at there in Alabama just got canceled, by the way. But I know in these type of situations, you just got to remember to make sure you avoid those flooded out roadways here because this flooding is just so significant, folks. So significant. There's some of your flash flooding safety tips right now. Again, a really big deal here toward Pensacola and the western Florida Panhandle. That's why we came on all of our different sources. You can see over the last hour or so, about 3 inches estimated on this radar mode, but if they go to storm total, this shows you here over 5 inches in that wide swath there in that gray. But some areas getting, as you heard there, close to about a foot of rainfall now. And that is not good news. Not good news at all. Looking here in the chat session, the Weather Service in Mobile talking about everything going on, saying a flash flood emergency for Gulf Breeze, West Pensacola, 10 to 15 inches of rain occurring in toward that region, and several more inches causing problems where, again, swift water rescues could be possible here if people are caught in any flash flooding, so just stay alert and do not attempt to drive through any flooded roadways. So again, a really serious situation toward Pensacola. Again, bringing back memories of 2014 there toward Escambia County. Flash flood emergency in play. One report in Gulf Breeze, 9 inches of rain in 3 hours. Over to Warrenton there, 11.26 inches of rain in 3 hours. So you kind of get the idea of how serious this is. There's some really serious details coming out of here right now as we're looking toward the Pensacola area. And again, it seems like the Pensacola metro, really in terms of downtown, is starting to get more and more as well. I know this flash flood emergency focused a little bit, as you can kind of see here for some of these totals earlier on, now you can see how they're more North Pensacola proper, but I'll go to other source because it does a little bit better job with this. It's going to kind of be able to break these color tables really into a better type of form. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's switch over to the other source. You can see in the yellows, indicative of 10 plus inches of rain over the last 12, in some cases 3 hours, and the Pensacola proper 5 to 6, but that number is going to go up here when the next hour numbers do get evaluated here and come into the system. So again, a nasty situation here toward the Pensacola area. Again, this yellow really telling a story. As we go ahead and zoom on in, you can see West Pensacola down to Gulf Breeze here. Potentially, this could be catastrophic flash flooding that we're talking about, on top of already a potential tornado. At least some damage occurred earlier from some storm action that came through. And according to WEAR TV, ABC3 there in that area, one person did lose their life when a tree fell in their home. So just hate hearing about stuff like that as we're looking toward Pensacola there, and toward parts of the western Florida Panhandle. I know it's been a busy stretch, and it still continues to be busy. I'll zoom out here real quick. I know as we look over toward the east right now, you can see some strong storms toward Wakulla, toward Taylor counties, even some weak rotations. So we still have to keep our eyes on the stuff out toward the east here. Still got to keep our eyes on some of our counties there locally. Wakulla and Taylor. We'll go back toward the west. We have stuff toward Texas there. Some of this actually eventually could be swinging, maybe according to the models, down our way here. The destructive weather up that way kind of swinging on into this pattern. We just have such an odd dip there in the jet stream, and it is just really a bizarre situation as we're looking at things. Again, you can see right now this train of rain just continues here around Pensacola. I know you can just kind of see it there in that one form, and I'm going to go ahead and go back on over toward our other mode for a moment. Again, a really serious deal out toward Pensacola right now in the western Florida Panhandle. Just a flood report after flood report coming on out of there, as this is just causing big time problems in toward those communities. So let's just go ahead and shift on over here to that loop now, the latest loop that's been put together, and you can see this, the rain is just unrelenting. All those little icons there, there's a standing person icon there, a person standing in the water. Those are all indicative of flash flooding. I'll pause it from earlier on. There was reports a couple hours ago at this point, flooding the intersection of 9th and College, flooding to the intersection of 12th and Summit. Portions of Bayou Boulevard flooded, and even toward the Graffiti Bridge, it was completely blocked off due to high water. Flooding in Warrenton, flooding there very serious toward Fort Pickens Road in Pensacola Beach and in Gulf Breeze. And now we have more reports coming in, and things just keep getting worse. I know the water is rising there in Escambia County around Warrenton. This was from a little less than an hour ago near the Jones Swamp apartment complex, as evacuation of vehicles was underway at that point. Social media showing water now in the home of one of the folks there at NES Pensacola, the Navy base, and then significant flooding there on Fort Pickens Road. One stranded vehicle now. A storyline there as of a report from just a little while ago. So again, really serious stuff. Really serious situation around Pensacola and Escambia County here in the Sunshine State. Again, that's what we're coming on with a special report right now, because this could be, unfortunately, for those folks out here, a matter of life and death in terms of this flood situation. It's reminiscent, again, I keep reading of 2014, that April event there that is so serious, but then also it is important to keep in mind what we just had earlier this year toward Fort Lauderdale. Those numbers maybe not quite achieved here yet, but it just keeps piling in and have more problems in toward this region. I mean, this rate has just been really rapid in toward Pensacola here in Escambia County, causing big time problems as we're checking again with the Weather Service in Mobile, who's in charge of this area. I know we could get new updates here. Right now, the flash flood emergency in play about 2:45 Central Time in toward that area. Again, the concern is there that the inundation of homes and swiftwater rescues may be starting to occur now in those low-lying areas, and that possibility does exist here as the flood waters rapidly rise. Okay, we just got a local tornado warning. Okay, so it's kind of makes things a little bit tricky. We just got a local tornado warning now, but we're on all of our platforms. So let's look over here. We're going to have to get folks into shelter and shift our attention very quickly now, as we have a tornado warning now in Taylor County. So let's go ahead and kind of shift our focus here real quick, as we got to do tornado coverage for the local area now at 1:42 on this Friday morning. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center, looking northwest of Perry in Taylor County. Now we're getting a developing circulation, so we need to get folks into shelter. This is part of our 62 counties and our commitment to be on for any tornado warning storm moving through. So now a tornado warning for parts of Taylor County until 2:15. At 1:42, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located 18 miles east of St. Mark's, moving east at 20 miles an hour. So again, we need to get folks in shelter right now in Taylor County. We have a tornado warning now in our local area. Our local area, as I know we're watching to the west, they're saying here in the chat that some areas are now getting in excess of 16 inches in terms of their rainfall totals toward Warrenton, and heavy rain rate to 3 inches per hour continue. But now, again, we have a local threat, so we have to shift our attention. So it makes things kind of tricky here, but we hope you guys are tuning in here. Roy, just getting that latest information. Hopefully you're gaining the details you need here to protect you, your friends, and your family. So again, we have a tornado warning here, but may get another one. That storm to the south looks like it could be a problem too. May get multiple tornado warnings here over Taylor County over the next little bit. We have one right now, this tornado warning. We're talking about, again, a possible tornado 18 miles east of St. Mark's here, moving east at 20 miles an hour. So mainly rural areas in northwest Taylor County, but it does include the following locations of Cabbage Grove. It looks like Idaho there, if I'm pronouncing that right, as well. I know in some of these situations, we like to switch streams. I did that one time before, though, and it caused some issues when we had, I know, a Bradford football game actually being delayed, and we had a tornado warning pop up. So we're just going to stick with this stream here, and I hope people just kind of see that we're live, and when they get that tornado warning notification, they know to tune into the special coverage of a tornado warning for our local area now until 2:15 a.m. We need to get you in shelter. This is in Taylor County. Let's go to our coverage map to see where we're at with this. I mean, many of you are familiar with Taylor County here in the Big Bend of Florida, but we have a possible tornado here. Let's see if there's a debris signature there. Maybe that might be why they issued that here, folks. That looked like it could have been inflow as well, but that's something we're going to have to watch here very carefully. Looking at our covered map right now, you see where Taylor County is in the Big Bend. Again, we have a tornado warning now. Seek shelter inside that sturdy building. Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a bicycle helmet. So again, we don't just have what we came on for, the flash flood emergency over Pensacola, but now a local threat within our 62 counties. So if you're getting that alert on your phone, you see me live, you see me talking about Pensacola, it's now our coverage has transitioned here for the time being to a local tornado threat. We need to get folks in shelter. Possible tornado right now in Taylor County in the Big Bend of Florida until about 2:15 this morning. Let's go ahead and jump away from this right now, that one graphic, and we'll go ahead and see here to where the circulation is right there. It looks like as we get down here, a lot of these roads don't show up because it's so rural, and that's good news, obviously. That's good news here, but we do have some roads in here. Looks like some folks could be getting impacted here right now as our topography kind of loads on in here. Again, we have a tornado warning in the local area now until 2:15. That could be a debris signature here, but it could also just be inflow. I mean, they're not confirming this per se as we switch radars on you. So we're watching this earlier on. We're hoping this didn't happen like this. That we would either come on for a tornado warning locally or just going ahead and have the flash flood emergency and then just do it that way without having a switch like this in the middle. But this is really what we're dealt with right now. So we need to go ahead and just make sure you guys know that there's a local tornado warning. A lot of these roads aren't showing up because they're so rural. We do have this just southeast of County Road 680 here. Again, that's why they issued it. I mean, okay, they're calling this a confirmed tornado now, folks. This is a confirmed tornado. That is a debris signature. It popped up. I mean, you can kind of see it there. I mean, that's about right when they issued the warning. Right there, we had a tornado in progress there in Taylor County. and it could still be, in theory, in progress. It seems like that circulation weakened pretty quickly, but they're calling this a radar-confirmed tornado in Taylor County, 18 miles west of Perry, moving east at 20 miles an hour. So we have a tornado on the ground in the middle of the night in our area right now. So take those tornado precautions. And this one could even be stronger. I know we've seen stuff in the Gulf all evening. Hadn't really been making its way on shore in our area, but that has changed, and that's getting really tight there, folks. This is kind of almost a nightmare situation because the tornado threat wasn't really advertised to be too high tonight. Now we have it in the middle of the night when people are asleep, and we have maybe another possible tornadic cell moving on in here. So this is toward Taylor County. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I make a comment on our Facebook streams at least here. I know I can do that. I might do it on YouTube as well. So bear with me here. Got a lot going on, a lot to juggle, but a tornado on the ground there as of at least a few moments ago in Taylor County. You need to get you guys into shelter there. Again, a local tornado warning here toward the north and west of Perry there in the Big Bend region. There may be another cell coming on in. This is dangerous stuff that we're talking about. I know as we get further away from the Gulf, we still lose some of those tornado and instability values here that we look at in terms of those parameters. But nonetheless, we have a tornadic situation here right now in the middle of our flash flood emergency stream. So again, tornadic situation is the storyline right now. Continuing to keep you guys safe and informed. And this one could be even a bigger threat to the south and west, but this one here producing a confirmed tornado there. And seems like it's already, as quick as it got down to the ground there, seems like it already fell apart, but looks like it touched down maybe. As I'm going to try to load the previous frames to see exactly what was going on with this. We're going to look back here in the timeline here in just a moment. We're efforting those frames here because we were on the other radar. So, okay, we have them now. Let's go ahead and show this. So you kind of saw some spin there as we were getting at about 133, and then you see wasn't really tight, but then right there when it got tight, there's your warning. That's when it hit, I think, hit the surface with a tornado. We're going to go ahead and load some of our debris frames here on this as well. Again, this is debris detection. That blue area indicates debris here, folks. So a dangerous situation. You can see, okay, so right about there is where it started touching down, it would seem. That's pretty rural, but it could have hit a home in there. You never know, and that always gets us a little bit worried. That was right before they issued the warning, and then it was on the ground right there. Still over mainly a wooded area, it would seem, but if it hits something back here, maybe we're seeing it further up, and then as you see it go toward more populated zones, still maybe something on the ground there, at least seeing the debris lofted. That was at 145, but now at 150 or so, 147 on that scan. Don't see as much up here. You still see a little bit of green and red though. Again, I know we're so in tight, but we just don't have a lot on road tracking right now. We have power line road is showing up now close to this. If you're in your power line road, take shelter immediately. Tornado could be right near this scan from just a few seconds ago. If there's still a tornado down, we could have that near a power line road. So again, a tornado on the ground as of a few moments ago in Taylor County here. A dangerous situation in the middle of the night. Again, that always gets us concerned here. Gets us concerned. We need you guys taking shelter there in our area. So again, nasty, nasty stuff right now. We're live right now, though, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and Twitch. So we're switching gears again. We talked about it. We went from the flash flood emergency west out of our area. That was a big enough story to come on forward to a local tornado warning here in Taylor County, northwest of Taylor, or excuse me, northwest of Perry here, the county seat of Taylor County. So let's look back to the west. That's a lot more to find, and this has the potential to be maybe to one type of storm that produces a stronger tornado, because we're seeing gate to gate over 100 miles an hour. If this holds together, a lot of them have been kind of falling apart as they get closer to the coast, and I think that's what the Weather Service was kind of hoping would happen here. But unfortunately, this one ended up being close enough to that Gulf instability there that we were seeing. I mean, that's fueling the problems to the west, and then the tornado parameters there high enough to produce a tornadic situation here in the north part of the area. So let's go ahead and zoom back out now. Again, make another tornado warning on this cell down here. You can see these greens and reds again. We're seeing gate to get about 100 miles an hour, maybe a little less than that latest scan, but that could get us a different tornado warning here That could be for areas a little bit further south along the coast. So again, a nasty situation here. We're monitoring everything for you right now to protect you, your friends, and your family. So again, just trying to let you guys know what's happening right now. I'm checking all of our different sources here. We just want to make sure you guys are getting the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family here. Again, we're live at 1:52. We had to make a change here in terms of going from the classified emergency for now to a local tornado threat here. A local tornado threat, maybe a secondary threat coming from the Gulf. Not out of question, considering now we have history out of this accident of producing tornadic activity here in our local counties, Taylor to be precise, here in these nocturnal hours. So again, just trying to hit it home to you guys, the viewers, right now. We're sitting here at 153 here on this Friday morning. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center. I mean, even a lower end tornado on an enhanced Vegeta scale can be life-threatening here in the middle of the night because folks are getting caught off guard. Maybe, hopefully, they get an alert there, maybe on their phone from the overall alert system, and then in that case, able to take shelter really quick. But it was, I think, already starting to touch down before the warning was issued here northwest of Perry. And in this one here, though, we need to get you guys ready. You need to have one foot in that shelter here because of this storm, because it's only a few miles off the coast at this point. Only a few miles off the coast. I know, by the way, I was going to try to put a comment on YouTube and on Facebook there to remind folks how we're having to switch, but at this point, we're having an issue with that, but we are streaming. That's the good news, but we're just going to have to stick with it like this at this point, I think, here at 1:54 here on this Friday morning. So again, a dangerous setup right now. If they issue a tornado warning on this cell, I think I'll make sure I at least run over here and I try to go ahead and type that out on Twitter, telling people that the coverage has switched because we can get some maybe advance warning to folks, because I mean, really, the other accent, I think, it's not going to really help us here. It wouldn't even help us when the warning came out because it's already starting to touch down. I mean, they had to have done that within seconds. But we have a few moments here with this one. I mean, it's only about 4 miles from the coast, though. So we definitely could get a tornado warning here at any moment with this secondary cell here because it seems to be really wound up. Let's look real quick at our instability and our shear. So this is why we have the problem that we do. We have the instability right here at the coast, and then we have the you have your rotational parameters in play. They come right together. The rotational parameters have come in further than maybe you would have thought, but the instability is what gets us down there, maybe fired up and toward the surface, and it was able to take advantage of these and produce a tornado here. Hopefully no homes got hit, but it's not out of the question. But this one could be a little bit more problematic because the rotation's been even stronger with it. So we now know that these storms have a history of producing tornadoes. So that could be problematic here in terms of this definitely being a dangerous one here. I'm looking right now at our maps, looking at our topography. It's pretty rural at first, but I mean, that's the one good thing about Taylor. It's pretty rural in a lot of spots, but kind of interesting here. Okay, they gone ahead and dropped the one tornado warning. They've canceled it for now. So let's go ahead and take out the tornado warning super for the moment, but I feel like we're going to get another one here issued at any moment. So just bear with me here in the Weather Center. Just bear with me here. In fact, what I think I want to do here, you see that clear off the board. Let's get back on over that one signature, Roy. We can quickly, very quickly, and that's good, but this is not an all clear by any means for portions of Taylor, because we have this other storm that could be producing a tornado here as it comes on in. May have a water spout in the Gulf already, so we need to be prepared here with this hook. It's only a few miles from the coast here, so again, you can see the shear rate product really picking up on this, and it's headed toward Taylor County here over the next few moments. So again, a nasty situation. We had that quick tornado warning in the local area. That debris signature popping up there, causing some damage. It would seem up losing the more rural zones. But again, I'll go ahead and zoom back on out now. And let's go ahead let's go ahead and just continue along here because we're going to get a new tornado warning here soon, I would suspect. They haven't said anything in chat about it, but I mean, I would suspect we'll get a new one unless this really diminishes. We've had cases before when we're not on the air. You get ready and these fall apart real quick. So maybe that'll happen, but this seems more vigorous even in the other one there. And we saw that it was able to produce a tornado based on the correlation coefficient product and a debris signature. So right now we're seeing gate to gate of over 100 miles an hour here. The other one didn't have those type of winds. Let me go back on it then to see what we might have had. Granted, some of the winds could have been a little bit different at the surface. For one frame, we got gate to gate close to 80 miles an hour, maybe 85 miles an hour there. For an EF1, there on the low end or high end, you have 0, but that can't be confirmed based on that, though. It's going to be confirmed based on the damage at the surface, but it's just an estimate. But looking at this one right here, definitely sticking out like a sore thumb. So what we're going to do here, we're at 158 right now. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to make sure we have it out on Twitter if this one becomes a tornado warning storm here in a moment. So I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here in the coverage. Keep it tuned to Cloud Weather, keeping you up to date. Maybe a new tornado warning coming as we've had to switch our coverage here to focus on the local threats here at this point.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here in the Weather Center right now at 2:04 on this Friday morning. If you were with us just a few moments ago, we had to transition our coverage here from the flash flooding out west to local tornado coverage. We kept you up to date on a confirmed tornadic situation there in toward Taylor County. And now another cell, I have it zoomed in really tight, but another cell trying to evolve on us here just off the coast. We were showing tight rotation just a moment ago, as noted by this analysis product, though it seems to be decaying just a little bit on some of the most recent scans. Haven't got an update yet on which way they're going to go on the Weather Service in Tallahassee, but I know I have something ready for our Twitter feed there if they do issue another tornado warning for the secondary cell. The other cell, I mean, it was just evolving there right on top of Taylor County with a confirmed tornado, really, as that warning came out. So I just kind of rolled with it here in our live stream and hope that folks, once they saw me live for the other threat, knew that I'd transition the coverage if they got that alert on their phone. But again, we're watching this, and if we do get a situation here, a situation where this becomes one where we have another tornado warning, we're ready to talk about it here. It's not 100% clear that's going to happen. But again, this is right near the coast, so just be ready for this. But it has weakened some over the last few scans. We saw this earlier with the storms and kind of the reasoning behind why they hadn't issued a tornado warning in the other cell, but because you can just see how tight that was. Why this one here was the one at this moment, and it looks like here really is when it was producing the tornado. So that was back at 141. So this was there just east of Powell Hammock, it looks like, and just west of Canyon Road 670. So that's kind of the storyline there, and you can see the polygon come on in. Again, pretty rural, but just trying to give you guys a look at what's going on there with some of those different details. We'll go ahead and zoom back out. We are going to keep watching things here. I see a little bit of even weak circulation, or at least wind enhancement here southeast of Woodville. We'll watch that there in southern Leon County. We have these perimeters trying to inch in just a little bit here. But for now, let's go ahead and kind of switch back over to some of the other information we were trying to provide here about that flash flooding toward the west. So let's go ahead and jump on over here now. You can see this getting inundated still with the water falling there around Pensacola. I know in the chat they're saying 9.2, 3 inches of rain is falling in the last 5 hours there at the Pensacola airport, and over 3 inches in the last hour. So just a really serious situation over there in Escambia County. And then even reports that just make this sound just so dire, which it seemingly has become toward Brent there. People are starting to evacuate along Carpenter Creek as water has begun to rapidly rise. There's reports of 3 to 4 feet, and they confirm that means feet. They're not inches of water. They're in Gulf Breeze. So the water is rising, and people are just trying to get out here and move to higher ground to protect themselves and their family members. So a dire situation here where some of these areas here. Again, that was toward the community of Brent there, but you can just see here all this rain that's been training on over the same area, which is so problematic here. Such a serious situation out toward the west, toward Pensacola there in Escambia County. So I know New Mexico discussion even came out for a watch further to the west here. That's going to happen soon. I was in the mobile chat session here as the new storm round is going to be coming on in. We talked about it. It's this conveyor belt here of storminess keeps on going, and you see storms around Shreveport there. I know we had some really big hail again there. This was in the ward parts of the Dallas area, maybe more north of town this time, but again, just a really bizarre pattern here for the month of June. This just doesn't really make a lot of sense, to be quite honest, for the month of June, but we're just going to look here at some of our different scans at this point in time at 2:08 on this Friday morning. That's Eastern Time, 1:08 Central Time for our viewers out there toward Pensacola. This flash flood emergency, this dire situation, and then even the other warning in play, the PDS. I know with PDS, this warning action was even when we were on earlier on. I mean, probably 4 hours ago for that tornadic situation there. At this point, as we were looking back toward parts there of this region, things are just really coming together there with a spin, and And unfortunately, it seemingly was one that ended there with tragic consequences, where the ABC station in Pensacola is reporting that a person lost their life when a tree fell on their home there. So just so tragic, just so tragic to hear about. I know. Just seeing all the different information come on in here to the Weather Center. And we're going to look back here. Let's go back 3 hours here. This is more, just wanted to kind of clarify that here. Wait a minute. I was, okay, yeah, 4 hours. I'm getting my time zones a little mixed up here. I apologize because we're jumping back and forth here. More than I really would like, but we had to talk obviously about our local tornado warning, and we'll jump back to that other cell if it gets one, but we're in constant contact with the Weather Service. Nothing new on that end. But even 4 hours ago, you see the considerable flash flood warning polygon for areas there around Pensacola. That threat was even then starting to be pronounced. You have the tornado warning there. We had the PDF threat from that. And now 4 hours later, as we go into timeline, you can see we have flash flood emergency, multiple two other PDFs, flash flood warnings there. Now they're telling us they're going to expand the flash flood emergency to extend upward into Inslee of Ferry Pass, the Bellevue communities, and also include a small portion of Santa Rosa toward the Oriole Beach community. So just some really, or Orly, if that may be the other pronunciation, a better pronunciation for that. But anyway, just trying to the best I can here, but just expanding toward that community. So again, just going to go ahead and continue to watch things here. Again, a flash flood emergency scenario around Pensacola. The water just keeps on rising there in the Wardness region. And then as we go ahead and zoom on out here, you can see our SPC risk for that Friday. Slight risk all the way to Tallahassee. Includes a 2% tornado risk to the west. We'll see. You never know with how things are going. If maybe something gets changed in that regard in terms of a tornado risk, but hail risk goes a little bit more pronounced to Tallahassee. The wind risk as well. So something to keep an eye on here. And then another thing to keep an eye on, these colder cloud tops around Pensacola. I mean, there's just shows the explosion there of this moisture being funneled on in. Just again, seeing the nasty, nasty scenarios. Even as we zoom on out, I mean, there's some moisture there around Mobile. I mean, Mobile is getting some, and they're going to see a new flash flood warning, a base one for them in Baldwin County. So that's kind of the storyline there right now. Let's go ahead and see where else we want to go with this. Okay, they're telling us they're going to go with a special weather statement for Taylor County now. The rotation has weakened some. Let's go to it on other mode here. Let's go to it on other mode right now. I will show you guys what we're talking about here. So yeah, it's turning right now into more just a straight line wind event. I'm a little surprised maybe they didn't at least think about a thunderstorm warning, but as I say that, base velocity only shows winds to about 50. This one here, when you look at multiple directions, it sometimes goes a little high and it says over 60. But just looking at this upon further review, about 50 miles an hour with a wind. So that makes sense here. Well, I just have to watch to make sure that it doesn't spin up there like the other one did. And then we have a little bit of a spin here, southern Wakulla County as well. So we'll just have to continue to watch that situation. But it looked a little bit displaced anyway. The times don't always get matched up. But just going to continue to watch things here. Just a lot of nasty conditions here in play. So let's just go ahead and continue to look at some of our different scans. Let's go back out toward the west here. And this almost reminds me of one of the hurricanes we had to make landfall here a few years back. Later on in the season, I think it was Nadac, so we had a tornado warning in that area of the Big Bend. A little bit, not completely, but a little bit unexpected there. In this type of situation. And then you had the big storyline was a hurricane heading out toward Gulfport. And then in this case here, not a hurricane, but just a horrific situation toward Pensacola with this funnel of moisture just right into Pensacola there, that urban area here in the western part of Florida now. Florida's gone through two high-profile flash flood emergency situations that were not even through the month of June. So Fort Lauderdale earlier this year, and now Pensacola with this water just funneling in there. Into where the Pensacola area, Escambia County, a new flash flood warning until 7:15 Central Time now, as the water is just unrelenting in this area. That's a new flash flood emergency for the Pensacola Metro and Gulf Breeze. At 1:13 a.m., life-threatening flooding had spread there across Pensacola and the adjacent barrier islands, where emergency management reports significant flooding across the area with roads inundated. Public reports up to 3 to 4 feet of water along Highway 98 around Gulf Breeze. That's feet, not inches, but feet, folks. 48 inches of water maybe there in terms of some of those values peaking on out around Gulf Breeze. And in the Pensacola ASOT station has recorded over 9 inches the past 6 hours and 3 inches of rain in the past hour. Between 8 and 13 inches of rain have fallen across the entire warned area, and additional amounts of 2 to 4 inches are possible. This is a flash flood emergency for the Pensacola Metro and Gulf Breeze. Particularly dangerous situation, so you gotta really make sure you're seeking higher ground. It's life-threatening flash flooding low-lying areas there, like low water crossings, small creeks, streams, urban areas, highways, streets, and underpasses occurs. We're talking about Ferry Pass, Brent, where you heard some of those reports coming on out of just a little while ago. Golden there, Avondale, Bellevue here, and Millview there, as well as Ramsey Beach, even so on up here in the text. But again, nasty situation here toward Escambia County. Truly a dire flash flooding situation here, based on water maybe upward of 3 to 4 feet there in that reporting on a roadway. Let's jump back. Let's jump back real quick. Okay, yeah, that's why I was about to jump back, because we just got a tornado warning here, folks. I was just looking at this on my other source, and okay, a tornado warning in the local area, so I have it ready to go now. We got to transition back now to our local coverage. A new tornado warning here until about 2:45 a.m. Eastern time here. So a new tornado warning now. Some spin really starting to show up on the Doppler algorithm. So at 2:15, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located 19 miles east of St. Mark's, moving northeast at 20 miles an hour. So yeah, let's go ahead and kind of move this up so you can see where Perry is in this. Bear with me just a second. I'm going to turn my head. Need to grab another tool here in the Weather Center. Again, we're continuing our live coverage here. A dangerous, dangerous situation now with another nocturnal tornado warning across the viewing circle right now. A tornado warning here in play until about 2:45 for parts there of Taylor County in our area. So local tornado coverage is what we're doing here right now. I just want to make sure everybody's kind of aware of what's going on here, because sometimes in that Twitter feed, I mean, if you see one thing, you kind of go past it. But now that we've had to switch around again, we want to make sure you guys know that we could have a tornadic situation here in the local area. So a tornado warning. We're just trying to keep you guys safe and informed here early on this Friday morning. Again, we're sitting here at about 2:17, trying to protect you, your friends, and your family. Again, this tornado warning here issued at 2:15 from northwestern Taylor County in the Big Bend of Florida. We're talking about it moving northeast at 20. This possible tornado. Let's look for debris. It's indiscernible, but there could be something trying to emerge on us here. We have some gate-to-gate values trying to show up. These are near the, it looks like the Econfina River Road area, if I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, I apologize. But again, a road here that's showing up. A lot of these aren't showing up because they're too small, but that one did. So I want to try to help you guys out the best I can here in this type of situation. Again, we're switching our feed for the second time now for local tornado coverage. Again, a tornado warning in Taylor County until 2:45 this morning. Again, we're trying to get you up to date here. There's a bunch going on here in the Weather Center. I'm trying to get all that messaging out here. I want to make sure that our Twitter audience knew that we had switched, so I had my phone there ready to go, and that tweet there ready to send for our transition again, this time around, a second time around, to local tornado coverage. So again, we have a scenario here. We have a hook echo in the Doppler radar. Eventually, this were to hold together, it could be getting closer toward areas toward Perry there, toward Perry, as we get further over and toward Taylor County. But that's a little ways away. But again, we have a tornado warning right now in Taylor County till about 2:45 this morning. You can see the greens and reds. Let me go ahead and get my mouse here on the screen right now. We're going to go ahead and try to get you guys into shelter here in this part of the region. Again, you see the situation that we're dealing with right now. I know this tornado warning part of the Tallahassee TV market area per se, and we're seeing these gate-to-gate values coming together on us. So we need you guys in shelter there in Taylor County here, and steer them away from windows. That may be a tornado on the ground now. That may be a tornado in progress. We're seeing some blue popping on out now here. This could be a tornado that's on the ground. It's in a pretty raw area again, but we'll go ahead and look at the topography here in just a second as we continue along. Again, you seek shelter inside this 30 building. Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Put that football helmet on, a bicycle helmet on. It looks like it might have hit something here. Is that a home? It could be. It looks like it could be a little area with a few homes. Maybe a little neighborhood it could have hit here in the last few seconds. That looks like that could be debris here. At least it came really close if it didn't hit them. Maybe it just went just to the south, but that looks like it went right over some of these homes here. Unless there's some displacement in the radar taking place. Again, that's right near Econfina Road, County Road 670 there. But let's go ahead and look up toward the north and east here. Again, we're watching things, we're tracking things here with that area of debris. It looks like it may be showing up on the Doppler. It could just be inflow, but they haven't confirmed it as a tornado yet like they did with the other one. But again, we don't want to take any chances here. Again, a tornado warning in Taylor County until 2:45. Again, reminding you guys where Taylor County is within our 62 county area right now. You can see that's toward that eastern Big Bend, and that's where we have, yes, another tornado warning, a second tornado warning here within the last little bit, having to make a switch from that flash flood emergency, a dire situation on the state and national level, to a local concern that is in the middle of the night. Maybe not a dire situation, but still, in theory, even if this isn't a really strong tornado, it can still be life-threatening if it's hitting things like mobile homes in the middle of the night, for sure. And that just tightened up a little bit here. We're seeing more red in here now. And that looks like that's a definite tornado there on the ground, folks. That's a tornado on the ground here in Taylor County. You need to be in shelter. County Road 14. There's a no doubter now, folks. The tornado's on the ground in Taylor County. Again, this is some serious stuff that we're talking about. This is a tornado in progress, and in the night here, we're talking about winds of 60 one way, about 25 the other way. So gate to gate of about 85 miles an hour here. It's about an EF1 tornado here in progress. So what does an EF1 tornado mean? If that's actually occurring, we will have to wait for confirmation from the Weather Service and see what this hits. But EF1 here means moderate damage in general as you get north like 86 miles an hour. But again, here's our green and really blue because it's a little bit stronger, and red coming together on the Doppler radar technology. Again, you see that couplet there. It looks like that's probably a confirmed tornado. There you go. They heard me. And they saw it too. I mean, obviously. So moving northeast at 20 miles an hour. Confirmed tornado located 17 miles west of Perry. This is in progress. Another tornado in progress here in the middle of the night in our viewing area. This is some dangerous stuff. Dangerous stuff here right now toward Taylor County. Again, we have a tornado on the ground here, folks. You need to take shelter immediately. We have, again, a couplet here. We have the blues, winds of about 57 miles an hour one way, red of about 27 the other way. So that gate-to-gate factor in here, again, gets us to about 80 miles, and that's even is tighter maybe now. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at this here. Again, we're talking more now. Instead of what we were before, we're going 65 one way about and 40 the other way. That could be winds over 100 miles an hour now in Taylor County. So you can't mess around. This looks like a pretty forested area for the moment, but it's about to hit a road here. Unfortunately, this didn't show up in our system, but you can kind of see the topography. That's about to hit some more houses potentially here in this area. Still getting stronger. Confirmed tornado moving northeast at 20 miles an hour here in the middle of the night. Again, you gotta take shelter here in our local area. A tornado on the ground. This is west there of Perry. This by a pretty good margin for now, but again, that's it's sticking out like a sore thumb. A tornado that is on the ground here in Taylor County right now. Second one here within the last hour since we've been on here. This one is a little bit stronger than the other one, it would appear. Let's see how far the debris is going. Okay, not too far yet, thankfully, but that could change here. You can't mess around for this to become even a stronger tornado. You got to take shelter here in Taylor County. Look at some of these roads here. A lot of them aren't showing up. Let's see here again. I mean, it's pretty rural, but if you saw some homes out here, Again, we're not too far away from County Road 670 here. Looking at that, you see a County Road 14 in here. It looks like this may be just off there, maybe just off toward the east of where these are right here on this map. So, I mean, it could be displaced enough where that's not actually the case, that it could actually be right over on the radar is not quite on top of things 100% with the pixels. But again, a serious situation in the local area. Again, we had to switch our stream from that focus there for the second time from the last foot emergency, this terrible dire situation around Pensacola, some of those communities, to a tornado that's on the ground here in the local area. So again, there's your debris signature, the latest scan on that. You saw that. I'm trying to kind of do a little bit of kind of understanding exactly what this is doing here in the grand scheme of things. So again, really nasty. Maybe I don't want to. Yeah, it is weakened. That's what I wanted to kind of say, but I want to look at our storm relative velocity first here. So again, we're just gonna keep on watching this situation here. This is south by a good margin of US 98. It's toward here the west of again areas as we look like Hampton Springs. So you guys kind of get an idea about that. So again, a nasty situation that happened here in Taylor County for the second time in less than an hour here in the middle of the night. Continuing to watch things, continuing to track them here in the Weather Center. We're just trying to make sure you have the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family here. Again, a tornado in progress here in Taylor County right now. You can see the blues showing up on the Doppler here, indicative of that debris. Our tornado debris showing on up there right now. That really does tell that story in toward this area. Again, pretty rural, but there are some homes out here. Hopefully folks got alerted to this. This is west of Hampton Springs, west of Perry there, southwest of Boyd. So just so you guys know, because we don't have any rural cities showing up in terms of names out here on the map, so it gets a little confusing geographically. But again, a nasty situation right now in north parts of Taylor County. A serious threat here. You can see we have the blues, we have the reds here coming together on the Doppler radar. This again is toward the west there of Hampton Springs. So just got to be taking those tornado precautions out here. We're seeing winds there over 80, that latest scan now. So maybe some strengthening again. Winds over 90 miles an hour now. It's touching down again. If it dropped for a second, it's back on the ground again. What I mean by dropped, Roy, is that maybe the spin kind of fell apart for a moment. Unfortunately, it is there again. This is a tornado in progress again in Taylor County. We're only about 2,000 feet up on the radar, so it doesn't have to be just the most intense tornado to be able to see it on the debris tracker, but you're able to at least get a better look of how the timing's going with this from that mode. I'll go up a little bit higher on our tilt stove. Okay, so even at 3,000 feet, you're seeing some of that debris lofted now. Let's take it about 4,500 feet. Goodness, over 6,000 feet now we're getting debris. Over 8,000 feet. This is maybe getting close to an EF2 type tornado then, based on that debris being lofted here, folks. Again, a serious situation right now in toward parts of Taylor County. We're talking about a tornado that's on the ground here right now. You got to take those tornado precautions. We're trying to make sure we give you the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family right now. as we had to switch over from that threat here on that statewide, national type of picture to that more local concern here, as I want to make sure everybody on Facebook and on Twitter is aware, excuse me, we already know folks on Twitter are aware. I'm using on my phone since it's a one-man band right now to make sure everybody on Facebook and YouTube does know that we had to switch here our coverage. So makes things again really tricky, but we're just trying to make sure we give you guys the very latest on what's happening here in the middle of the night when people may not be aware of what's going on here. That makes things really tough here, folks. So again, we've had to switch here into tornado type of coverage. So again, talking about that local coverage here at this point. We have that tornado threat still into where Taylor County still on the ground. This may become a PDS warning here pretty soon, which we rarely get in the middle of the night here, especially with this lower threat. This is starting to really get a little bit scarier now, and you really got to take shelter in Taylor County. So again, just making sure you guys know what's going on here with this local tornado warning coverage. I just want to make sure everybody knows what's going on here on our different feeds, again, with this threat in Taylor County. So again, I just want to kind of reshare this out because of that. And something we don't generally do, but it's important here, folks, to do that in this type of setup. Again, I'm just trying to keep everybody safe and informed here with what's going on here at this hour. So again, a tornado warning in play. A tornado warning here in play. A confirmed tornado. This is probably again on the edge of becoming a large and extremely dangerous type of tornado. A warning here with that dense debris signature. We just got to make sure people are in shelter right now here in Taylor County. Put that football helmet on. Put that bicycle helmet on in this type of situation. So important here when you have a debris signature that looks like that here on the Doppler radar technology. Again, we have, again, this local tornado coverage here that we're sharing out toward our different feeds here to make sure people know that this feed did switch, because you can't really switch them in the middle. It doesn't really work. I've tried that before. So we just have to do it. We have to do it a little bit differently, but it's just about keeping everybody safe out there. We're having to really go to the extreme, because that's an extreme looking debris signature right now as we get on in here. As we're looking there, that's really serious, folks, in this type of setup with this tornado warning here in play. I just want to make sure everybody knows that, again, on YouTube as well, that this is the local tornado warning coverage at this point, because this is so serious. This could be a tornado that is one that could be a matter of life and death here when we have a signature like this on the Doppler, and in this case on the correlation coefficient product. So a very tricky situation here in the middle of the night. Things really escalated on us. That's why it's so important to have multiple ways to get alerts here in this type of setup. So again, you're watching this here. You're watching this in the lower parts of Taylor County right now. Still seeing winds there over 60. Check that. I mean, really closer to the gate-to-gate calculation here. That's 50 one way, 35 the other way. Still about 85 miles an hour worth of wind showing up here, which is serious. Going back before, that was even maybe a little more serious on that scan. I mean, looking at some of these scans here, closer to 100 miles an hour worth of wind. Again, we're in a pretty rural area. That's why I'm not able to give you too many roads, but there are enough out here that there are some homes in this region here. Again, this is in Taylor County, pretty far west of Hampton Springs, so it's kind of hard to give you too many markers per se. But again, some very tight spin here, folks. Very tight spin in this area in Taylor County, in the Big Bend of Florida. That's what we're tracking right now. A really serious situation in the middle of the night. We had to switch our coverage here to focus on this because of our tornado warning policy, and now it's becoming such a serious situation in Taylor County here. Again, there's where Taylor County is. Here's your latest debris scan. Your latest scan. This is not breaking down like the other one did. Maybe that was a brief touchdown. This one may be more. It looks like it is more than a brief touchdown here into Ward. Some of these different areas here. Again, I'm checking all these for road names. We're just coming up pretty empty right now. because most of these are pretty rural roads, which is good, but then it's not good because we can't give you the road names to be able to warn you guys. But again, just trying to give you guys the latest here to protect you, your friends, and your family. Again, it's a confirmed tornado here. The latest update, 13 miles west of Perry, moving northeast at 20 miles an hour. So areas there like Ecafina there, if I'm pronouncing that right, being impacted with this damaging tornado. This damaging tornado here in the middle of the night, making things so treacherous. The warning goes for 11 minutes. Hopefully this will fall apart real quick, because I know sometimes that can happen when we get further away from the sources here with the higher parameters, but that might not end up being the case here because as we get a little bit further on in, it still might be able to maintain itself for a little bit longer past that 245 benchmark where they have to issue a new tornado warning at least. So again, a serious situation. I mean, so serious I had to work Pensacola as well, but I know out here right now we have a tornado in our market area on the ground. So let's go ahead and go back on over to our other computer, our Searate product right now. You can see what's going on here. Again, a tornado in progress in Taylor County. So how it's been weakened right near the coast, but it tightened back up there. And then also there's a mesoscale discussion now because of everything that's going on here, that scattered storms are likely to persist tonight from the eastern Florida Big Bend into northern Florida, and a brief tornado or two cannot be ruled out. And surface observations across the area indicate a warm front extending from central portions of the Florida Panhandle. We're talking about even toward they're east-southeast or near the coast. While many stations over land are reporting dew points, there's 70 a few coastal locations. So the very tropical, very moist air mass over the Gulf is close to, well, it's spreading inland, and indeed multiple buoys confirm dew points in the lower 80s. So there's very, very strong instability here, and then very warm advection and minimum send there, aiding storm formation due to the mean boundary layer winds out of the southwest across the Theta E gradient. Although winds of around 850 millibars may vary with time, the 0 to 1 kilometer storm relative velocity is currently they're pretty up there in terms of some of our different values that we need, and periodic mesocyclones have been observed on radar, and trends will continue to be monitored here for a possible increase in storm coverage, where it may be enough to have a tornado watch or a thunderstorm watch to be issued here again because of all this. So, really tricky setup, folks. Not what you want to see here in the middle of the night. This is about the worst thing, like a worst nightmare to see in the middle of the night with the type of risk. We really didn't have a tornado risk listed by the Storm Prediction Center in play here for the nocturnal hours, and unfortunately we've seen multiple tornado touchdowns here in Taylor County now. It's just a tricky pattern that we really, as meteorologists, have never dealt with in June before. I mean, in this part of the country, it's just so bizarre to see here a pattern like this. So that this coming into play like it is here and causing all these problems. So again, really serious stuff, really nasty situation. Again, a tornado here still looks to be in progress in Taylor County right now based on this debris signature here. Based on this debris signature, this blue showing up here on our debris detection software, our product correlation coefficient here, folks. Again, this is what we're dealing with right now. Tornado debris in Taylor County, west of Perry by a little ways. There's Perry. You see that about due west of there with this thread. And we'll back this up a little bit. You can kind of see here it's been on the ground for a good while. I started touching down maybe around 2:18, give or take, and now we're 20 minutes later, and it's been on the ground for the majority of this time. So that's not good, folks. That is not good here to be in the wee hours of the night and having something like this develop on us. It's really scary news. So again, need to be in shelter here. This has been such an unpredictable pattern, as we've talked about, as we continue here to watch things in the weather center. Still seeing that debris here with us on this mode, and that is not what you want to be dealing with here. Again, this is west of Hampton Springs and Perry at this point in time. I moved the map over. This is going here a little bit north of them. At this point, it would look like I know it already made one switch in direction, but eventually, if it gets further away here from the more favorable conditions, it should weaken on out. But right now, that's not really the case. So, gotta take shelter here. It's gonna be getting pretty close now to State Highway 30 and US 98 here. US Highway 98 and State Highway 30 here in the next few moments. So, gotta take shelter here right now in this area in Taylor County. Again, this is a very serious situation across parts of the Big Bend region. Again, a tornado in progress here in the nighttime, in the overnight, when people are asleep. If you have any family members out here, call them to wake them up, because this is serious stuff that we're talking about. They need to know what is headed their way there in Taylor County, as that still just continues to present a scary, scary signature here, folks. Gonna go ahead and check some different things here in the Weather Center right now. Just hearing some different things here on some of our different sources. I'm trying to make sure I get a handle on all of them, since it's the one-man band here. Again, that debris signature is just still going here. Still going in Taylor County right now. Very nasty stuff that we're talking about here. Talking about gate to gate. I mean, we're 71 one way and 45 the other way. So that's winds there getting us closer to a strong tornado that seems to be headed toward areas there along US Highway 98. US Highway 98, folks. This tornado is about to cross over here soon. I assume, based on this signature, another tornado warning will be required here for portions of the coverage area. So there's some really dangerous stuff here in those late night hours here. Just not what you want to be dealing with. Not what you want to be dealing with here, as we're past 2 or 40 or so in the overnight hours here with this type of spin and play. Again, just trying to make sure everybody stays safe out here. It's just really tricky stuff here to have this pop up on us here in the middle of the night. But this can sometimes happen in these type of situations here as we continue to effort the latest information. That's why you hear some of our computers here trying to make a little bit more noise, because we just have so many things going on here right now in terms of trying to get those details for either viewer at home. So again, a really scary situation right now in Taylor County. You can see this blue showing up here on our correlation coefficient product. I mean, we're talking about winds to 100 miles an hour, maybe, about to cross over US Highway 98 there in Taylor County. This is not good news, folks. Not good news at all. A tornado seemingly still on the ground here in Taylor County, in the Big Bend region here at 2:41 on this Friday morning. Again, you need to get an interior room away from windows. Make sure, again, if you have somebody that's in this area, make sure you call and wake them up. Tell them there's a tornado that's headed their way if they're in this area. And we're about to get a new polygon, I would assume, here. There you go. Okay, they're calling us a large tornado on the ground here. Okay, and that's kind of what we were thinking. They're saying this is a particularly dangerous situation now. This warning going to 3:30. At 2:41, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado is located 13 miles west of Perry, moving northeast at 20 miles an hour here. Again, a large tornado on the ground here in the Big Bend in the overnight hours, where people really were not expecting to have to face something like this. They're facing it here in the middle of the night. Nobody hardly is awake right now. So if you know anybody around Boyd, if you know anybody around Shady Grove, the Lake Bird there, they need to be getting out of bed and taking shelter from this threat. That's what we're talking about right now. A very dangerous threat here. A considerable danger here in those overnight hours from a large and extremely dangerous tornado. So again, we're talking about when we have that type of phrase, an EF2 type of situation on our hands. Again, we could still have winds over 100 miles an hour here in Taylor County right now. Again, this is just so serious. About to be crossing US 98 here. We cannot emphasize how serious of a matter this is here in Taylor County. Eventually, this were to hold together, which we're hoping it'll start to die down by when it gets up here. It would be getting into Madison County, but right now we're talking about Taylor County here. This is about to be crossing over US Highway 98, folks. There you go. It's about to cross it. The tornado in progress. A large tornado at points at least, as confirmed by the National Weather Service in Tallahassee. Again, there was no formal tornado risk here, I do not believe, in these overnight hours by Storm Prediction Center. And now we have a large tornado that has done damage here within our area, in addition to a second tornado that was seemingly a little bit weaker here a little while ago after we were starting to try to focus our attention on that flash flood emergency. We had to switch gears once those tornado warnings came out, and again, the Weather Service is calling us a considerable damage threat here in Taylor County. Again, it's about right over US Highway 98 now, as we're looking there west of Perry. Again, really, really serious stuff. You have some other spins maybe trying to come together. Hopefully these don't come together, obviously, out toward the west here. But again, a large tornado on the ground here in Taylor County. This is just serious, serious business that we're dealing with right now in that US 98 vicinity. You gotta be in shelter, folks. Okay, so they're giving us a new update, it looks like here. As we get at 2:45 now, you see that other box, it went away. So that's your latest detail. But everybody in this box, you gotta be in shelter here. A tornado may be headed your way here, either imminently toward US 98 or within the next 45 minutes. Maybe a little sooner though. Sadie Grove, Lake Bird, Boyd, somewhere in that vicinity. Just hold it together. Before then, we still have some roads and some homes being impacted, no doubt. But right now, it's right near US 98. It does seem like we're getting a little bit of positive trend. I feel like this might be a sign it's starting to weaken and lift a little, which would be the best news we've had in a while here on this, because it's been on the ground for about the last half hour here, chewing across portions of Taylor County. You can just see that blue here on our correlation coefficient product. I mean, that's been about 30 minutes worth of trouble here in Taylor County. I know it's pretty raw there, but I'm pretty confident there being on the ground that long. Seeing some homes on our topography, it probably would have had to hit some homes there, and folks may have not been aware of it coming toward their doorstep. So I just hate hearing and thinking about stuff like that, but that's what we're dealing with at this present point in time. Again, in the word part of the viewing area. So again, trying to give you guys the very latest here. At 2:46. Don't lay your guard down, because this could always tighten back up again. And it is a situation right now where it's been rain wrapped here to some degree, it would seem, but at this point it seems like it's getting caught more in the rain here. And I know sometimes, I mean, you have rain wrapped tornadoes that are really substantial, but with this storm mode here, there's a chance it might be just backing this up, because we haven't focused on that too much. It seems like it's kind of losing its spin now that it's kind of coalescing a little bit. So that'd be some good news here if that is indeed the case. Again, a situation I really don't recall happening here in our area, to have a large tornado on the ground in the middle of the night here in June, for goodness sakes, without much advanced type of forecasting for it with the SPC outlook. I mean, we knew there wasn't a zero chance really around the Gulf Coast because the overall parameter space, but it wasn't maybe something to discern enough for a 2% risk, because it's pretty remote. We've had these over the years, so many years. I mean, I'm going back thinking to high school even. There's these threats in the Gulf Coast. They really don't come into play. This probably was one of the most prolific we've ever seen here, and it happened with the extreme instability here with the shear mix. And a lot of times I'm talking about just these ones that are near the coast. You just don't have enough for them to come into play, and this came into play in the worst possible way, really, into some of these different spots. So you just hate seeing that stuff. We had a marginal risk of severe weather, but no formal tornado risk here for the overnight hours toward this area. And instead, we got a tornado on the ground for half an hour. I mean, that just really tells you how serious this is, and toward Taylor County, folks, how serious of a matter this has become here. I'm hoping it's finally lifted, and they'll be able to, if this continues, the trend continues here, they'll give it a few more scans, I'm sure, because they don't want to tighten up like it did earlier on. But we are in a scenario here, we're in a situation where we're wanting this to be extra sure that it's not going to recycle here and spin up again as it moves away from the more favorable environment. You would think here You would think that it would continue to start to weaken on out here at this point. Let's go to our instability map here because this has been so key in this type of setup. You can see our surface-based cape here, about 1,500 joules per kilogram, but then it's moving out as we get to the north of Perry, under 1,000 joules of energy there, joules per kilogram, and then you get less and less here, and then but we had this mix in here, the tornado parameters too, right into the coastal area, supercell composite, really high, just promoting a threat like this to come into play. But again, we've had these localized threats you have over the years, and they don't come into play. Something like this, maybe a lower end tornado, but not something that maybe was on the ground for half an hour. Granted, it wasn't the most populated area, but in the middle of the night, not much of a risk. And then we get something to be on the ground for 30 minutes. It's just terrible to think about. To be quite honest, here, it's not a good scenario for these folks here in toward Taylor County. Just got to keep them in our thoughts and prayers. The folks that were hit by the tornado here, their homes, if that indeed did end up hitting homes, because we know it was on the ground. It's just we don't know exactly what buildings it may have tracked over here, but again, we just have these risks over the years. These localized ones that you don't really expect maybe to come into play, or maybe you think they will come into play, and then this one here instead, a really serious situation. We do not get large tornado threats in the Florida counties very often, and we had one there. So again, let's go ahead and look at the current rotation tracker. Definitely weakening on out some, but the threat's not completely over yet. One thing I wanted to do here, I wanted to go down here on our topography. It's not going to be perfect, and it's going to stop us from going too far in here, but go along the path, see what type of buildings this may have hit. Just trying to do our best. It's not going to be perfect, as I've mentioned, but definitely could have hit some homes in here. Maybe we got lucky and lifted in some of these spots, but you can see here, just watching this overall situation, but we'll just have to find out. It would be miraculous if this didn't hit homes being on the ground for 30 minutes, but this is one of the areas here that in theory you could have it on the ground for 30 minutes in our area and not hit too many homes, but it probably hit some, and others the Okefenokee Swamp area, but and even, I mean, you think about some areas maybe like toward Franklin County there, another example, but so our latest scan here, still keeping a tornado warning for now. They're just not going to take any chances with this here. You still, for now, want to really be watching around Sadie Grove, Lake Bird, and Boyd. I mean, if I'm you guys up there, I want to have 1 foot in the storm shelter in your safe spot. You may be okay to have a 1 foot out if you're really paying attention to this. But so just something to kind of keep in mind here in this type of situation, in this type of scenario here. I'm thinking it's going to fade as it gets further northeast, but we cannot guarantee that. So you got to be paying attention here toward the north and east. You got to be paying attention here in toward these areas. Let's go back on over our shear rate product. You want to see the path on this, how it was really tight in the Gulf weekend, and then didn't get a tornado warning right to the coast, and then tightened back up. But I'm going to just go ahead and zoom on out a little bit. Again, still trying to give you guys the latest information. Of course, the reason we came on here with this stream initially was the flash flood emergency situation around Pensacola, and things are still dire over there. They're getting worse and worse in parts of town around West Pensacola, it would seem, based on this mapping here. I know, let me just go back over since I have my tornado warning information on, but you kind of get the idea of what we're doing there. Trying to give you a look at that stuff just for a few seconds, since this is not quite as serious as it was over the last half hour. So still could recycle quickly here. I'm not willing to give up on it. There is probably lots of debris, by the way. That's not gonna, let me double check that. That's interesting. Let me see here. I mean, looking at that, that kind of looks like that could be lots of debris to the north, which that definitely indicates a more significant tornado if that's the case. Yeah, that's what that is. I mean, because it's fanning on out now, so that's debris. It was picked up. It was picked up by the tornado. It was picked up by the tornado here, and now you're seeing that maybe. I mean, some of this in theory could be I mean, with maybe a debris fallout signature like this, it could be starting to drop little pieces of stuff down now in toward this corridor here that it picked up now that it seems to be weakening. That it seems conceivable here in Taylor County right now, folks, that this is what that signature represents. It's pieces of debris now that were picked up by the tornado. Now, those are being dropped here. Those are being dropped down back toward the surface. And again, the tornado itself seems to have weakened out. This is not on the ground at this point, because again, that's a fallout signature. This was a debris signature back here for a while, though. A while on our debris tracker. Again, a very serious situation there toward that area, the viewing circle. Again, you can see those blues there popping on up. That started there again around 220. Give maybe even, let's give it maybe 218 or so, and that continued for 30 minutes or so, picking up debris. I mean, and now that's a fallout signature. As bad as this could be, I mean, we're just hoping everybody's all right here. That's the most important thing, and it doesn't help the people that could have been hit by this, but there are a lot more densely populated areas this could have went through here in the middle of the night, but we still could have had people hurt from this here, obviously, because of the way it developed on us. So, got to keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and zoom back out again. We'll keep tracking the debris tracker here as needed, but look at some of this stuff off toward the west now. Off toward the west here. Trying to give you guys the very latest on what's going on in this type of setup. We see some areas that's been to some degree off toward the west. They're not overwhelming, and hopefully these storms are too close to be able to come in terms of intensity pulsing up, Roy, but you never know. You never know here, folks, and that's why it's always important to have multiple ways to receive alerts, whether you have a threat or not, all year long, really. I mean, it's not just about certain nights. I mean, all year long, you have multiple ways to receive alerts, even throughout the nighttime hours. And hopefully, folks did there that were hit by this tornado that we would think were hit by this in this area out here. Again, it's not the most populated area, which was playing in our favor, but to be on the ground for half an hour, give or take there, you have to think some homes had to have been hit there, unless we got really, really lucky. So again, let's go ahead and zoom back on out now. Let's go ahead and zoom back on out our other mode here. We're going to go ahead and say that we have a thunderstorm watch now in play until about 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central out toward Mobile and Pensacola. As that complex of storms comes into the picture, we'll see how things go with the ultimate tracks of this stuff later on. But right now, we're still continuing for a little longer with a tornado warning locally and a flash flood emergency situation toward Pensacola there. So that's kind of the storyline there. I'm going to take our tornado safety tips off from the corner for right now because since we're kind of zooming around some different areas here, again, a local tornado warning here in the middle of the night because of a large and extremely dangerous tornado in our Florida counties here. It really is not good when you have a situation like this develop on us, a nocturnal threat. And again, this is debris fallout here, folks. This is not a tornado that's actively producing here at this point. It does not seem like that literally, which we do not get that very often at all around here in our radar scans, which indicates how powerful this may have been, and maybe picking up a lot of tree debris too because of where it was hidden more rural zones. I mean, seeing that is debris. I saw this up there back in earlier parts of the year toward that tornado that hit toward Glen Allen in southeast Missouri in the middle of the night. That was deadly. This type of signature, we've seen it in some of the bigger and more intense ones in the past as well. That indicates to me this had to have been at least an EF2 tornado. Can't really, based on velocity, say it was any higher than that because we didn't get pixels. Maybe really well defined into anything higher than that. But I feel like this has to at least be in the EF2 range to get a signature. I know we're at a pretty low level, but you don't get this very often. I mean, I'll go up a little and you'll see it. I mean, boy, you're still seeing that. You're still seeing the debris fallout. This is what that is. The debris fallout signature is our computers have been working overtime here. So you hear our fans running. That's just the nature of it. We've been going for now since Monday morning, really. about 5 something with coverage. I mean, we had local power outage stuff to deal with that Sunday night as well. But again, looking here, I mean, that may not be all of it, but I'm just going to keep checking. I'm just going between some different scans here. I mean, you can definitely see some different signatures there at that tilt, which is, I mean, 7,000 feet. So that tells a story here, folks. Not good stuff happened in Taylor County tonight. Roy, the big question then will come in that, Roy, did we have people hurt? Did we have homes hit? I mean, it's possible we didn't have homes hit, but we could have had a car flipped over on a road somewhere that just crossed a road. And people just, I mean, you know, you're driving along, maybe you get the alert, which hopefully you're able to kind of heed. But if you're out there, maybe you're out in the woods trying to camp or something, even not sure exactly if that's what these specific neighborhoods and areas are for to some degree. But I mean, you might really be in a pretty treacherous situation. So again, 2:59 now is the time. We're going to wait for this tornado warning to go away officially. It goes to 3:30, but again, this is a debris fallout signature, not a current tornado on the ground. It does not look like at this point. It looks pretty clear that's not a current tornado. That's a debris fallout signature, which you do not generally ever see in our Florida counties. I mean, I've seen it again. I was talking about in Missouri. I've seen it in some other places there. I know that tornado East Alabama we had back in 2019 comes to mind as one example there too, where we had all those lives lost there in East Central Alabama. So again, you just gotta really be concerned when you see stuff like this. But again, we're now at the top of the hour, 3 a.m. on this Friday morning. Tornado warning continuing for parts of Taylor County. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center, trying to keep you, your friends, and your family safe and informed. Again, I know we had this transition our coverage here. We had transition our coverage to the local tornado threat as things took that escalation here. It took that local escalation here, unfortunately, and that's just really, really terrible to see. But let's look out here. There's some areas of rotation trying to get going here. Southern Wakulla County, southern parts of Jefferson County now. We're looking at things out there. You can see these greens and reds trying to come together. They're not really impressive yet, but considering what we've just been witnessing toward Taylor County, you can't take any chances in terms of just watching these storms at least. But again, back toward Taylor County we go. This warning should go away here pretty soon. And then hopefully we'll be able to transition back to the flash flood emergency type of setup here, where ultimately I'll eventually wrap that coverage up and we'll just have the stream going for even maybe a little bit further on. But right now we still have a local tornado warning for a storm that did produce a confirmed large and extremely dangerous twister. So again, serious situation in the middle of the night. Again, that debris fall out here is so awful to see. I mean, in this type of setup, I mean, there's a chance we could have little pieces of debris falling right now along State Highway 20 here, not from a tornado still on the ground probably, but because of the tornado that actually did all that damage there further down into Ward Taylor County. I know I saw on YouTube there a comment about I hope people had weather radios there, and that's why we urge you guys to have weather radios. We urge you to have multiple ways to have alerts always here in these type of setups. So again, going ahead and giving you guys the very latest here, continuing to watch things. Again, just not what you want to see, obviously, here in these type of setups. Not what you want to see. So again, going back here on our Doppler, you can see how that emerged there on us. Just problematic stuff here in the picture. Continuing to look at things here in the Weather Center. Hopefully this tornado warning goes away here soon. They should drop it pretty soon, I think. They're just not wanting to take any chances after what has happened here, transpired over Taylor County here in these last couple of hours. So again, really serious stuff in the local area. It's 3:03 now on this Friday morning. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud. I know what's interesting to take note of here is down into southeastern parts of Wakulla County, a situation arising there where we have a little bit stronger rotation showing up. So we'll have to monitor. And we had some of these earlier that didn't really come to fruition here. But this one did. There's another one earlier in Taylor County that did just for a brief moment there as well as that one that was coming on out. But this one a lot longer of duration in progress there on the ground, which is just so problematic toward some of these different communities. So again, some serious stuff that we're talking about here. We're trying to just give you some more different updates here as we get them on in. You can still see all that rain that we had this train over Pensacola. Just a catastrophic situation for those folks out there in Escambia County. The reason we started this stream because of what was transpiring there over the last 12 hours. Now you can see everybody's pretty much got about 10 inches plus now on Pensacola. Again, Roy just seeing things where water was up to 3 or 4 feet. And okay, we just got a new tornado warning locally now. Okay, they're going to go with a new tornado warning now locally for another area back off toward the west then. It's this one right here in southern part of Jefferson County now. They think it's tight enough for a tornado warning now until 3:30. And this one here might be the next one to get a tornado warning then because it looks tighter than the other two. So again, that could be an issue. That's in southeastern McCulloch County. But now this tornado warning just coming down at 3:04. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located 12 miles east of St. Mark's, moving east at 25 miles an hour, including mainly rural areas in southwestern Jefferson County and northwestern Taylor County. But it does include the following locations: Cabbage Grove, Goose Pasture, and then also another location there named Hell's Half Acre. So again, just the storyline there. You see there are different areas of spin that we're monitoring, that we're keeping you guys up to date on here on our Doppler radar algorithms. Again, a dangerous situation here in the middle of the night. Again, with 2 tornado warnings right now in play. This one here again, parts of Jefferson and parts of Taylor until about 3:30 this morning. So that spin. Let's check our debris tracker. I want to see that's the catalyst behind this. Oh, I think I see something down here. Is that what hopefully not what I think that is, but it's hard to say because it's mixing on in there. But I know looking there could be something down here to the south in that other storm in far southeastern McCulloch County. We'll have to watch that here as well, maybe for another tornado warning here in a few moments. But this one right here is we have the one tornado warning right now that just issued near US 98 further back to the west in southern Jefferson County. This is moving on off here toward the east at 25 miles an hour. So again, radar indicated rotation here at about 3:30 this morning. Again, another tornado warning. We could get a third tornado warning in here though into this picture here pretty soon because that looks like it's a little more definitive right into the coast where we'd have the more favorable parameters here in theory. So got to keep that in mind. Now, I do see something that's kind of interesting about that. Let's look at some of these numbers here. Seeing start to see if there's some displacement here. Okay, that's 307, that's 304. So be interesting to see the next scan as that catches up. So that's catching up now. That's over here. That matches up. And that doesn't really match up. So that's good. That could just be inflow then. That could just be inflow there for the time being. But we'll keep our eyes on it, obviously. It's been a long several days. We got to keep paying attention. Got to keep paying attention, though. Still not done yet. You can see here, tornado warning for parts of Jefferson County and parts of Taylor until 3:30 this morning. Again, we already had a significant tornado toward the east. We're now getting word of another tornado warning coming out now. It's that area that we've been talking about, portions of Jefferson and Taylor. This is for southwestern Jefferson and northwestern Taylor until 3:45. At 3:07, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. It was located 9 miles east of St. Mark's, moving east at about 30 miles an hour. So, again, a third tornado possibility now here in toward the Big Bend region. Another spin here emerging from this action. Serious stuff here in toward the Big Bend region right now. As I know that one area that we had a debris fallout signature on. We're kind of in a situation there right now where it's kind of maybe really losing the overall circulation still and that one will probably go away pretty soon, but we're having to watch further off toward the west here. Having to watch further off toward the west here with these spin-ups potentially toward parts of Jefferson County. So again, those moving back into toward Taylor County here pretty soon. Moving back into toward Taylor County here pretty soon. So some serious stuff that we're talking about here could have some serious consequences here, especially what touched down a little while ago. Again, we're trying to give you guys the latest to protect your friends and your family here at 309. Again, 3 tornado warnings right now, all one time. Just continue to look at some of our debris detection tools. It's always important to do that. Again, just trying to figure out exactly what's going on here. Checking here. I mean, that matches up really well with that spin. So that actually might be a tornado on the ground then. That looks more like that's becoming a debris ball signature now. Again, and I mean, looking at these time frames, yeah, I think that's a tornado in progress here in southern Jefferson, folks. I think that's going to be a tornado confirmed here in a moment because, I mean, that looks more like a debris ball there when we look at it like that. I mean, this can before not as much, but now that looks more like a debris ball trying to set up here in a southern part of Jefferson County in toward our viewing area. Again, this is south there for perspective, US 98 there. Let's go ahead and go on over here. Yeah, that still looks like a tornado to me. I mean, you saw that in a correlation coefficient right in there. Again, that's parts of southern Jefferson County. We're talking about mainly rural areas, but there still could be a few folks that live out here that are getting hammered maybe by a tornado. Another tornado in toward this Big Bend region. This would make 3 confirmed tornadoes. So, yeah, that's not good. Really, that wasn't necessarily, I thought that was really advertised here to be in the middle of the night. That's just kind of what we're having to deal with right now, as we're being told by the Weather Service in Mobile that Escambia County Emergency Management is reporting numerous high water rescues ongoing in the flash flood emergency, and several structures are flooded out toward Pensacola, folks. They are flooded out there because of what has transpired in Escambia County. Just a dire situation. You would think by now the heavy rain would have stopped, in towards some of these spots, but instead it just keeps piling in. It's unrelenting here in this coastal area. We were hoping, I mean, for one, that we wouldn't get tornado warnings, but for two, that stuff like this wouldn't keep piling in on Pensacola here past too long after we started this rain. But an hour and a half later, and they're just still getting hammered by heavy downpours that are just flooding the streets. The water's coming into homes. The water is causing people to have to be rescued, and that's really serious. Okay, what's really serious too is that tornado that's now being confirmed. This other box about to turn purple on your screen now because it's now a confirmed tornado 11 miles east of St. Mark's, moving east at 30 miles an hour. Again, a tornado that's on the ground here with this cell. This one that I put a little box on there if you can make it out. Again, this is now a confirmed tornado here in this area from the Weather Service at 311. A confirmed tornado is located 11 miles east of St. Mark's, moving east at 30 miles an hour. Scanlon and Ecofina there. Ecofina, I'm apologizing. I know we keep having to say that name because it's where folks could be getting impacted in that vicinity, but it's one that we're not too familiar with here in the Weather Center. But again, continuing to watch things. That's a pretty dense debris signature, folks, now, as we were really kind of getting worried about as we were looking here. So we're pretty worried more about the trees being hit right now, but there's always a chance here it could start to hit some homes here when we have a tornado like this over land, obviously. I mean, the only saving grace right now is these have been more rural areas, these have been hidden in, but otherwise, I mean, and obviously people get hurt or worse, and this is a disaster. But even if people aren't, it's really serious. But yeah, this would really be a disaster if this was like coming in on Tampa Bay or something during the middle of the night. In terms of these type of debris signatures just popping up and staying around and getting this really dense like we really just are not familiar with toward this part of the viewing circle. So again, let's go ahead and keep watching here. Let's go ahead and keep watching. We're looking here at our different scans again. You still have that one in the east. I'm a little confused on why they're keeping it, but I know we're going between all of our different sources here. Going between all of our different sources here to protect you, your friends, and your family. So, again, we're sitting here at 3:13 right now on this Friday morning with just a really serious set of circumstances locally and across the state. Locally with 3 tornado warnings on that screen there. You're still dealing with them right now here in the wee hours of Friday morning. Again, the tornado warning threat continuing here as we continue to check some of our different sources here right now behind the scenes as they're trying to protect you, your friends, and your family. So again, providing this local tornado warning coverage right now here. I know we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube here to make sure you guys know exactly what you need really in terms of vital information. Right now in this one box here, you need to be taking your tornado precautions here in that purple one. The other purple one just went away. They expired it. They canceled it out because we weren't seeing that threat anymore, which is good news. But what's not good news, again, folks, is that we have a tornado observed here based on radar indications. Yet again here, southern Jefferson County. So you can see here, looking at this blue, I mean, that's really, really dense debris, folks. So make sure you're following those tornado safety tips here in this area. Following these tornado safety tips, 609, that sturdy building. Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a football helmet or bicycle helmet here, folks. Again, this is just some really serious stuff. Again, a tornado on the ground here in southern Jefferson County. It's a pretty rural zone, but again, another debris signature popping on up on the Doppler algorithms. So again, you need to be taking shelter. I mean, we have the other tornado warning as well. You should take shelter from too. It's further off toward the north here. That's further off toward the north. As I'll go ahead and move away from this and go back to the map. Again, you can see we have the red box to the north, a lot less defined in terms of the circulation there. And as we look at that, you can't really make out a debris signature, but this one's a really clear debris signature in parts of southern Jefferson County here in the Big Bend. Again, a tornado on the ground doing damage still. We have Scanlon in this warning. We have areas around there that are there as we're looking east of St. Mark's being impacted. Portions of Jefferson, we're talking about southwestern Jefferson and then northwestern Taylor counties. And then we're seeing this other area as well, that other red box. I see something else I don't particularly like. Now that tornado warning went away, we're starting to see a little bit of wind enhancement again back out there. Nothing on the ground right now, but seeing a little bit of extra wind enhancement there, northwest of Hampton Springs. So, again, looking at things, 54 miles an hour right there. This is northwest, a little bit of Perry as well. So, just giving you guys a look at the geography. That may be more like west-northwest for Perry, but this is the one that's the most concerning right now. Again, the debris signature showing up so well in this set of circumstances. Again, the reason we initially came onto the stream here almost 2 hours ago now was for the flash flood emergency out toward the west. We've seen another one of those issued. We've seen a slew of tornado warnings in the Big Bend here in the overnight come together with multiple confirmations of tornadoes, at least 3 of them now. We've had at least 3 confirmed tornadoes based on debris signatures, and this is the latest one in southern Jefferson County here. Confirmed tornado in progress here in southern Jefferson County. Again, this is moving back into toward Taylor here in a few moments. So just not what you want to have to deal with here on this Friday morning. In the wee hours of it, I mean, people aren't awake, and unfortunately, some folks may not have their phones set to get these alerts that would wake them up. And that could really be something that's serious stuff when we look back at this. But hopefully, again, the population density that's not really there will help us out. That at least gives us some hope, despite how bad these signatures have been. But again, being on the ground as long as the other one was for 30 minutes makes you think some homes had to have got hit in there at some point. Some roads with people's cars driving on them. I mean, it seems like it'd have to be the case. This looks a little weaker, a little bit of positive news. But it's still, the spin's still there as this gets closer to U.S. Highway 98 here over the next little bit. pretty soon. I mean, that's where it's headed toward here pretty much. So again, kind of a storyline there again. And I see, just again, we're still getting the updates here in the chat session, trying to continue to get the latest details here on everything that's going on here in these wee hours of Friday morning. Okay, that latest scan there. So again, we're still watching things. Still could be a tornado there, don't get me wrong. This is still into Jefferson County, southeast Jefferson. This is into Taylor right here. This is the delineation line here. So this is just south and west there of US Highway 98, where you have signs there that I would assume are posted that delineate you from going from one county to the other. So just to give you guys an idea of what we're talking, that's Jefferson and Taylor's line, just south of the US Highway 98. Again, the storyline right here, we're at 319. We're just continuing to give you guys the latest here to try to protect you, your friends, and your family. Again, that looks a little bit more promising, but still some debris showing up on our tracker. Hopefully this is starting to fall off here over the next little bit. That'd be some good news, but we still got to keep watching. Well, that latest scan there seems like it's trying to come back up in intensity, maybe just a tad. Hard to say it. We're in a spot here where we have these different boundaries in terms of the county, the roads, and I mean, it's not the easiest thing, but that hook is still wrapping around it, so still some nasty stuff here. Again, you see these greens and reds right there near the Jefferson Taylor County line. We have the other warning as well, but it's not near as well defined. We had the other warning to the east where we had a tornado in progress for so long there across rural areas in Taylor County, and that has seemingly fallen apart here at this point. But again, continuing to watch things. I'm just looking back at some of our different patterns here. Our different patterns here overall. Continuing to watch things. Continuing to monitor them. Trying to give you the latest to protect you, your friends, and your family. Again, you see that hook there. We're going from Jefferson into Taylor counties. And I just sent another update out to the Ward of West as well. The reason we started this stream about 2 hours ago, that flash flood emergency is still continuing for the Pensacola area. We're talking about their situation now where, at least in Warrenton, it's recorded 15.23 inches a sensor has there over the last 6 hours. And Gulf Breeze has picked up over 14 inches of rain over the last 6 hours. This train is just like a train, a conveyor belt. And this one didn't stop, and like some of our severe threats have had breaks in our local area. This train of moisture just keeps coming in, wreaking more havoc, causing more problems. It's hard to forecast ahead of time for something like this, something so dire like what we're seeing around Pensacola right now in Escambia County, Florida. Such a dire situation for those folks. I mean, folks having to evacuate there along a creek. We had water maybe from the road upward to 4 feet high. That's just terrifying. You're almost at a loss for words. I mean, between this and what we've been dealing with our local tornadoes on the ground, it really does put you at a loss for words here after the week we've had here with all these tornadoes popping up, and it is 3 in the morning, 3:22 in the morning in June. So again, we're still watching things west of Perry. We're looking at some of these circulations here. May want to, if you're up in Perry right now, you may want to stay up here. I mean, I'm not saying you need to call anybody in Perry or anything like that, because we're uncertain if this will hold together that far. This trajectories could change, and there's a lot of things that could happen. But if you're up in Perry right now, you might just want to keep an eye on things just in case. At least make sure you have multiple ways to get alerts for sure before you go back to bed. But be like 3 or 4 ways just to be extra careful. But again, looking here at maybe a reemergence of our debris. It looks like a debris signature again. Looks like a debris signature again here, folks. Might even be, I mean, I almost want to call that a debris ball there even, but it's hard to say. It's really messy. That's there, south of US 98. South of US 98 there. We continue to effort the latest information in to protect you, your friends, and your family here. I think we need to check some power outage numbers now in Taylor County as well. Let me go ahead and do that. Let me go ahead and do that here in these overnight hours in this really nasty setup that we're dealing with, that we're having to track. I'm gonna go over there here. Gotta check one more thing first. Just wanted to figure out some stuff here on this overall setup. Just some insider information here. I know this one tornado warning only has, with the confirmed tornado warning, only has 69 people in the box, but still you can't be messing around with a confirmed tornado. And then the other one earlier on, we were talking about a little over 1,400 at one point. Further back there, we were only talking about 41, but still, a tornado, large tornado on the ground like that is problematic stuff. And one person could get hit, and that person could have some bad outcomes here. So, apologize, I'm losing my voice a little. We've just been talking so long all week, and it's a one-man band. But again, just trying to give you guys the very latest here on what's going on in this type of set of circumstances here. Just trying to see here the overall situation. I'm gonna go ahead and keep diving in to details here. So power outage.us is where we're gonna go now. Texas having just so many power outages there in North Texas tonight. Over 228,000 customers in the dark right now. We're talking about Northeast Texas there. As we're talking about like Upshur County and some of those areas out that way. I mean, kind of telling that story. Of course, all the issues with that deadly tornado in North Texas, part of that Panhandle there. That was something where it was really evolving as that tornado warning got issued. Even radar scans a little bit higher up there. Unfortunately, we're in a good spot on the radar here, which has helped us. But Taylor County with 68 customers in the dark, and it's conceivable based on what we've been seeing, those could be the ones that were impacted by the tornadoes here in the area. 105 out in Jefferson. So just kind of giving you a number on those two counties right now. So kind of the storyline right now. Checking for more updates. You see all that lightning around Perry, and that's probably making you a little nervous anyway, waking you up more there than what we have out to the west. I see around Perry, that other spin there is trying to tighten back up a little bit. We'll have to watch it. This one here, it may not still be on the ground, but it still has enough circulation. We still got to watch it there. Just north of US Highway 98 here in parts of now Taylor County. So they've over trim out Jefferson, probably both of these. I mean, the one circulation I don't always see too much, but it's kind of on the edge here. I mean, with that other box, maybe it might be a little confusing if they get rid of the other one here. But again, just trying to give you guys the very latest here in the Weather Center to protect you, your friends, and your family. Looking at all our different scans here. We have some nastier wind at least headed for Perry over the next little bit in Taylor County. Again, here in the middle of the night, 3:26 on this a Friday morning. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center. Again, when we have tornado warnings in play, that means things can be life-threatening, especially when they're in the night and the overnight hours like this. That definitely can cause some issues for folks here. So we just got to be really cognizant of what's going on. Let's just go ahead and keep looking now at this stuff here as needed. But we'll go back to the west now. Again, that train of rain just continues across Pensacola. The water, just keeps coming down with numerous structures flooded and ongoing high water rescues around Pensacola there in Escambia County. This could definitely have tragic outcomes associated with it as we're looking there. So, really highly populated area with all that flooding. You can see Perry here getting some heavy rain there. We'll have to watch that storm. Okay, I think they might have to go with a new warning here. Okay, there we go. New tornado warning. 4 areas around Perry now. This is why I wanted you guys to be aware just in case. So, this here, and they're saying this might be tracking a little bit off here toward the east-southeast now. That could get it into town. So, tornado warning now for northeastern Taylor County. It's a lot more population that's in this one compared to the other ones we've had. And it's been up pretty quick now again. So I thought it's capable of producing a tornado located near Perry, moving east at 20 miles an hour. This could be near Perry around 3:50. So if you have relatives in Perry now, this is the time to give them that phone call and let them know that a tornado could be headed their way, considering the night we've had. Things could really start to come together on us here really rapidly. So, yeah, we got to get folks in the side around Perry. You just got to be really taking those tornado precautions here in Perry now, in Taylor County. Really nasty stuff. Seek shelter to that sturdy building. Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Put a football helmet on or a bicycle helmet on to protect yourself here from the potential of flying debris. So, again, moving east here, 20, but a little bit of a southerly component being noted here on our Doppler algorithm. So, let's get it right into word town here if we're unlucky over the next little bit. So, got to be taking shelter there. Let's get back off toward the west. It seems to have tightened up again. I don't see the debris at the moment, but this is definitely tighter out there with this spin, and it's been in a while. I mean, we're seeing gate to gate about 90 miles an hour of wind there. Again, further off toward the east, though, we have this tornado warning for areas there of Taylor County toward Perry, toward the areas maybe around our region you think of when you associate really your thoughts with Taylor County. You think of Perry, and they had not been under the line of fire here, in the line of fire until now. So they just canceled out one of these warnings here. It started out at 3:30. That's why that went away. So you can see our map here. We have, looks like now, 2 tornado warnings, one for areas of Taylor, another for areas of Taylor and Jefferson, but really that's moving into toward Taylor now as well. So Taylor County, that's south of Madison, is west of Lafayette, it's east of Pensacola, there, and Jefferson and Leon, if you look at the map like that as well. So, again, I'm giving you guys the very latest here at 3:30. You have 2 really nasty looking areas now on our Doppler algorithms. Got to get in those tornado safe areas here right now. These are some nasty little areas of spin. Got to take shelter here. Again, seeing winds maybe over 100 miles an hour now north State Highway 30. This is on the ground. Okay, I think it's starting to touch back down again. At latest scan, just started to sow debris again there. So winds to 100 miles an hour there. Maybe reaching the surface further back in Taylor County. And toward the east here now. This one could start to touch back down here. As we move in toward Perry, be rain wrapped. I mean, both of them be rain wrapped, but the one to the east here, moving into Perry here over the next little bit. I mean, this one kind of following a similar path for now, but we'll see how things go because things are moving kind of slower here in the picture. That's definitely debris there. Back out toward the west now. This is north of US 98. Again, looking here, we have 52 miles an hour with a wind one way, 56 the other way, so over 100 miles an hour of wind maybe being transported toward the surface here, in toward Taylor County. Looks like it may be near some buildings or something now. Not 100% sure what this is on the topography, but looks like it is in some areas here where it could be causing some problems based on this topography. I'm looking here at some more road names. They still, for the most part, except for US Highway 98, not really showing up because they're more rural, but this is just north of there with this tornado in progress. Let's look toward the one toward Perry now. I'm trying to give you guys the very latest here on what's happening as we're looking west of Perry in Taylor County. You can see here the latest scan just showing some pretty tight rotation moving right for Perry. So if you're in Perry, you need to take shelter. That's a departure from earlier when you were watching maybe from there not that long ago. Things have taken a turn now for Perry where you need to be in that interior room away from windows, putting that football helmet on, putting that bicycle helmet on here, folks. That's what it's all about in Perry right now. You gotta take your tornado precautions. A tornado may be headed your way. This one's not confirmed right now, but it could get confirmed as it comes into town. We just don't know. Okay, back to the west now. They're calling this a large and extremely dangerous tornado. 16 miles west of Perry. This is a particularly dangerous situation there. Toward areas further back toward the west. toward the west here. A large tornado in progress. There's your debris signature. Again, a large tornado here on the ground at 3:33 on this Friday morning, June 16th, 2023. Large tornado, another one large on the ground in the middle of the night in Taylor County. You got to take shelter. Taylor County has been a tornado magnet here in these overnight hours. It's been extraordinary, folks. I mean, people that are asleep, sleeping through this event here. I mean, just hopefully they're gonna be okay if they get hit by one of these twisters. Again, looking at things here on the Doppler again. I'm looking north of US 98. A lot of these have been staying away from the more populated areas, but I mean, you're gonna run out of luck here at points, and we probably have run out of luck already. But I mean, you can see some of the topography in there. Again, that's a large tornado. This one here, excuse me. I know after a while we kind of lose our voice, but again, this tornado here, it's not confirmed. The one moving toward Perry right now, but it could always tighten up on us quickly like the other ones have, and that'd be a problem for us here, and a problem for the city of Perry. So, again, looking at things, moving toward Perry here, over the next little bit here in Taylor County. Again, we're talking about some nasty, nasty conditions there around Perry. I know you have the lightning, you have the heavy rain, but kind of further back, we have a tornado threat here, and we have another tornado threat further back, both of them north there of US 98. So again, that's kind of your storyline as we look out at the map a little bit more, north there of US 98. So again, your tornadoes there. We're not sure about the other one being confirmed toward Perry. Does not look like it right now, but the one further back is a significant tornado that is on the ground there. So looking up on some of our debris tips, we're not seeing debris as high up as we do in the other one yet, but that could always change. And we have this spin here moving in toward Perry. It's a pretty broad spin. Still could have wind damage with this, even if we don't have a tornado, but you got to be aware of that. Do not want to be in a spot that puts yourself in a vulnerable position here as you're toward Perry and toward Taylor County right now. Again, a possible tornado moving toward Perry here with the red box. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado further back toward the west in the purple box. So again, we really have our hands full here in the middle of the night, but it's just a one-man band. We're trying to keep you, your friends, and your family safe and informed. And I'll get an update on that flash flood emergency being extended there toward West Pensacola, Warrenton, Gulf Breezes. That's what we started with here. Things are so terrible out there, but now things are terrible towards some of our counties here as well, and at least the more rural zones getting large tornadoes to touch down here in a night where we wouldn't have any type of like tornado watch or anything in play. So gotta really be careful here in these type of setups. Hopefully we're not seeing any type of debris signature trying to begin here. Hard to say. I would lean against it for now, but gotta watch. So back to the west here. Oh, that really picked up badly. That's a really significant tornado there north of US 98, folks. Around Cabbage Grove Road now. Cabbage Grove Road, you're in the path of this. Over the next few moments, this is headed your way. Cabbage Grove Road and County Road 655 there. County Road 655. This tornado is headed your way. This large and extremely dangerous tornado. Now, the word Perry, we have to really be careful here, though, because we're in a setup here, folks. We're in a setup where we have some really nasty wind moving into town. If it's not associated with a tornado, we could be getting some damage here around Perry in Taylor County. So that's kind of the storyline right now. It could be having some damage here around Perry and Taylor County, but nothing in terms of a debris signature like we're getting back to the west here. The really, really nasty signature that we've gotten here. And that's, again, the tornado's headed right for Cabbage Grove Road here. In the next few moments, we have County Road 655 showing up. We also have, it looks like, Luge Ridge Road. So, again, a few more roads showing up. Maybe it look like more homes maybe out here. And that's a problem for us. So, getting that extension of the flash flood warning just into our computer system. For Escambia and Santa Rosa, the flash flood emergency. It's a catastrophe, a catastrophic threat out that way. We'll dive more into that here as the timeline continues. That's, again, what we started with, but we had to switch because we just got situation here that's so serious out toward the Big Bend region, the eastern Big Bend, with these tornado warning threats in play. I know we've already had the tornadoes, multiple tornadoes touch down back out west in Taylor County. This one right here, just because of the population density, this would be the one that you least want to touch the ground here. Heading as of yet here in these latest scans, it's gone toward Perry. So let's just hope that stays the case. Doesn't seem like it has based on our debris detection, but even a broad spin could put down a weaker tornado or a nasty burst of wind that could cause some power outages in town here. So you got to be inside around Perry in Taylor County right now. In Taylor County, again, this tornado warning in play. Assume out we haven't had a chance to really look at the rest of our area. Pretty much, I mean, it's really not a really very busy picture at all as we get further on out here. Toward, I mean, the rest of our area. It's just crazy. I mean, outside of these areas of the tornadic activity, we don't have too much at all, even in terms of lightning. But Taylor County's just been a hot spot here over the last couple of hours for this tornadic concern toward the Big Bend region. You see the two spins done up pretty strong on a rotation tracker. It just kind of uses algorithms here versus me being able to kind of use my eyes here to figure out what's going on. So this looks like it could still be a tornado on the ground, but it may be starting to be a situation here out west here, where it may be trying to weaken and we might be seeing more of the lofted debris, but it's a little unclear. Back to the east here, very strong winds moving into toward Perry. If you don't have a tornado, you may still have winds of 60, 70 miles an hour. Give or take, moving into toward town here, causing some damage, causing some power outages here around Perry in Taylor County this morning, again at 3:40 on this Friday morning. Again, I've been with you for a long time here, trying to keep you, your friends, and your family safe and informed. Again, this is not a confirmed tornado right now. It's still a threat for sure. Still a threat here for sure as we're watching things across the viewing area. So just trying to offer you guys all the latest information here. Okay, another tornado warning being issued now, folks. Another tornado warning being issued here as we continue along in toward the timeline. You can see that one there, that pink box. That's for a confirmed tornado. Kind of splitting the difference now. That one goes to a 415. So that one's 14 miles west there of Perry, or 26. 14 miles west of Perry, moving east at 25 miles an hour. So that's kind of the storyline there. Damaging tornado out there. We'll have to see. Again, that may be kind of falling apart. Oh, but you can't take any chances. If you're in any of these boxes, you got to be in that tornado safe spot. Put that football helmet on. Put that bicycle helmet on. Make sure your shoes are on in the aftermath of a potential tornado, because you could cut your feet up if you're trying to get out of that tornado safe spot there. Have that cell phone with you. Make sure you have that so you're able to communicate to the outside world. If you're trapped and have cell service, I mean, you may not get lucky and have cell service, especially in a rural area like this. But another thing you can do here as we're looking toward Taylor County, I'm not sure if I've ever seen a county take this many hits here in an overnight hour period here with as little expectation as what we've seen tonight here. I mean, our viewing area is Taylor County here. Hopefully it was hopefully it was all forested areas with the tornadoes touching down that we've had with the debris signatures, but the one was on the ground for like 30 minutes. That seems unlikely, but it was in the more rural parts. This one here to moving more toward Perry. I'm hoping this doesn't tighten up over Perry, because we could really have problems if it does. That'd be a nightmare situation there on steroids. It's already been a nightmare scenario in some regards, but you can see here went to 55 one way, and you have kind of 13 the other way. It's not a really tight couplet, but we just have strong wind. That's really strong wind as I go back on over now. Moving north, Perry, maybe 50, 60 mile an hour wind there, showing up. So again, nothing in terms of like a concrete debris signature with that one. Hopefully this stuff just starts to come together and turn into a mess here where we disrupt these spins and we can get on here with the cleanup processes here that are needed toward parts of Taylor County potentially. But again, looking at this right now, you can see Taylor County again, Perry. This tornado warning here. The tornado would be, if we have one on the ground, It'd be close to Page Road right now, probably, but this is kind of such a broad spin. I hate to pinpoint stuff, so they were so tight back out west. I know the Byron Butler Parkway, there could be some pretty nasty wind there. Really anywhere in this area, we could be seeing this. So you almost don't want to pinpoint the roads too much because I feel like this is more either a broad spinning scenario here where we're just getting the winds trying to come down here toward the surface, maybe with a weaker tornado, or we're getting a downburst, or maybe just quite a bit of wind issues here from straight line fasten in that straight line fasten. But again, there's your tornado warning. You have the purples for the confirmed tornado threat, the red here, 40, a radar indicated threat. So again, this all clustering around here in Taylor County, just wreaking havoc for these folks here, especially in the rural areas. And hopefully this is not getting toward Perry proper with anything in terms of everybody's signature, but definitely could be getting some wind damage right now based on this in Perry. Right now, I mean, it could be about some of the worst of this here. Over the next few moments, US 19, Duval Street there, Union Street, Bacon Avenue, Homer J. Smith Avenue, Willow Street, Faulkner Street. You kind of get the idea here. I mean, this is the type of threat we're dealing with. You have State Highway 30 in here. I'm talking about some of those bigger roads, but again, a nasty situation here right now toward portions of the Big Bend region. So again, still tracking things to keep you, your friends, and your family safe and informed. So, sitting at 3:45 right now. We have 3 tornado warnings here into the wee hours here of Friday morning. Meteorologist Casey Cloud. I know one thing I'm seeing with all these, it seems as if, we have this one big shower if you just look at it like this, but instead we have these other spins. Seems like eventually things might get disrupted here. Which would be great news in terms of that spin, but right now, not necessarily completely done so yet as we're moving toward Perry, and so it could be a problem for those folks there around Perry. So again, Taylor County here in the Big Bend of Florida is where we're watching this threat. Let me go ahead and continue along here. I want to go ahead and move out a little bit for a moment. So I'm going to take up our tornado warning safety tips for now as we have this catastrophic flash flooding still around Pensacola. The heavy rain still falling here, folks, as people are having to be rescued here from these rising waters there toward Escambia County. We have Santa Rosa County even included in some of these flash flood emergencies as well, though. We're talking about the Doppler radar indicating rounds of shower and thunderstorms continue to train across Pensacola, West Pensacola, Warrenton, Gulf Breeze, Myrtle Grove, and nearby communities as rainfall gauge reports indicate that between 8 and 15 inches of rain have fallen over the past several hours. So numerous high water rescues there with several structures inundated with flooding. You hate hearing stuff like that. Back to our area, and the reason we had to break away from that for the most part is our tornado warnings around. So at 3:46, so one of these went away naturally at 3:45. The pink one goes to 4:15. The one for Taylor's county seat of Perry goes until 4. Right now, we need to go back over here. Let's get back on over because it looks like a little bit tighter spin showing up closer toward South Byron Butler Parkway, Grove Avenue, over toward McGregor Street now. Somewhere in this vicinity. It's broad, so I kind of get nervous in some ways just putting out these names because it may be a little bit displaced from it, but damage could be a little more widespread here in Perry and Taylor County. But not getting into pre-signature, but it didn't mean we're not getting wind damage. People might still be losing power here, either from a weaker tornado or from damaging winds or type of downburst situation. So again, we're watching things right now in Taylor County. Again, trying to give you guys the very latest to protect you, your friends, and your family. There's copious amounts of rainfall in there in Taylor County right now as well. So that's something to kind of make note of here for sure as we're looking toward that area here. Again, 3:48 now is that time. Let's go ahead and pull up our tornado safety tips graphic full. That'd be a good one to go to. Again, we don't have a tornado watch in play. Feels like we, for these areas here right near the coast, this was warning after warning. You think that it was, but this has been just a confined situation right now. But a tornado warning does mean that a tornado has been detected using radar or spotted here in this case, in some of these cases anyway, via the debris detection product. So you just want to seek shelter inside that sturdy building, get as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a bicycle helmet. And that does apply to the Perry area there in Taylor County. So again, we have this threat here continuing around Perry. I know we're right around even maybe the airport. Let's see, we have, I need to go ahead and put our wind information on if it's not on. Okay, actually do have it on, I think, and don't have anything yet, but let me see exactly where our METAR site is here. Well, we're going to go ahead and check on where our METAR site is in toward this area and see where the temperature is. So it's just maybe just north of the airport area then. With the worst of this, it would seem, with that 77-degree reading, another reason for all the problems, that warm temperature at night with the other characteristics that you would see in a different time of year. We've never really seen them come together like this with the, different time of year jet stream coming into play with the summertime heat. We never ever want to see it again after the week we've had here across portions of our area. Just warning after warning, problem after problem arising toward communities, and it's just been a absolute mess toward spots here. So continuing to watch things, giving you guys the latest. Checking for any debris. We don't see it on that, thankfully. Let's get back to the west here. I know we're seeing some different things on our Doppler algorithms. I know there's still a chance maybe we're getting some more debris fallout. Now, things are a little bit tricky here. I'm hoping it's not. Maybe that's not going to be fallout here toward the north, but it's kind of hard to say here at this point in this pattern. But I mean, I kind of feel like that could be because I came from that debris signature and came in that direction here. This has been such an odd pattern, though. At this point, you're not 100% sure, maybe, of exactly what is going on here in some of these setups. Okay, new flash flood warning now because, as we were talking about here, all this rain's coalescing. So maybe the tornado threat will start to wind down, but now a flash flooding threat again here in portions of our viewing area toward Jefferson and Taylor now until 7 a.m. So at 3:50. The operator indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned area. Between 2.5 and 3.5 inches of rain have fallen in the last hour, and flash flooding is either ongoing or expected to begin shortly. So I know some of those more safe tornado spots are ones that could be vulnerable to flooding here pretty quick. We don't have basements really around here, so that's something you don't have to worry about. But I mean, that would really be a problem in other parts of the country. But Perry, Hampton Springs, Boyd, the airport there, Lake Bird, over to Ward, Pineland, Cabbage Grove, Smith, Scanlon, Goose Pasture as well, all under this flash flooding threat on this Friday morning. Continuing to give you guys the latest here to protect you, your friends, and your family. We're seeing all this rain around here. We're seeing the tornado threats definitely come into play here still that we've been following over the last little bit. So that's just something that we really had to keep our eyes out for. Let's see, there's 1 hour of rainfall estimates. You see the spots in this into this brownish, really a grayish color, I should say here. About 3 inches in the last hour here has fallen, which is just really significant. So again, just stuff you kind of have to deal with here in toward this area for sure. In the pinkest area is still over 2 inches, and then storm total. I mean, we've already had all the rain beforehand, the antecedent rain, so we're sitting at like 9 inches. We did get a break here, unlike what they've seen toward Pensacola, but I mean, we're sitting at just so many inches of rain here at this point in time. When we get into this grayish color, we're talking about 5+ inches really in the storm event overall here, going back a little bit. But again, still the tornado warnings here too, so let's not lose sight of that. Lose sight of those. Don't want to do that. As we look here, we still have quite a bit of wind here closer toward now. It looks like Foley there, or Foley, depending on how you guys pronounce that, on the local level there in Taylor County. again. So we may get a new tornado warning, and that might go into lower Lafayette County if that's the case. So again, you can see that there. Watching on the Doppler. Again, you see that lightning there popping up. So hopefully this is maybe something where it's more about the stronger wind or not something that's actually reaching there. If that is, a more concerning type of scan. So again, I'm still watching things here, still tracking the situations across our area. We're at 3:53 right now. Again, the tornado warnings here in play. Now these tornado areas here, these rotational areas, this was the one that was more significant earlier. It seems weaker now than this one on the leading edge. I mean, there may even be a third area kind of developing there closer toward Perry proper. I mean, almost looks like a little bit of a boundary weak ecoregion trying to develop there, but hard to say. I mean, after days and days of looking at radar, I mean, your eyes kind of just see things sometimes that may or may not be there. But again, continuing to give you guys the latest here to protect you, your friends, and your family. Again, it's always important. It's our policy to be on whenever there's tornado warning storms moving through our 62 counties here, our 62 county area. We're located over toward the east of this by a good ways in Bradford County. And toward Taylor County, though, is where this threat is right now, there toward the Gulf Coast, toward the Big Bend region. So this threat, hopefully, and I mean, normally I'd say for sure, but you never know anymore. But hopefully, it's not going to come close toward this dark area. But the models haven't been able to handle this as great because it's not something I've ever seen before, a pattern like this in June. So just never know. But wouldn't think we'd have the instability and all that come in that far. But I mean, I guess anything's possible at this point. I mean, long as this can kind of fade away here in short order, we'll be in better shape. But the one thing I'm thinking about here, I mean, really is that, I guess in theory, if you had the instability spread in as we got closer to sunrise, then maybe that might be an issue as we get further over to some degree. Maybe not that far, but we'll see. I mean, that's something we're not going to worry about right now. Got to focus here on Taylor and maybe Lafayette County here over the next few moments. That's a new county kind of that we're talking about in terms of a threat here as we get later on in the timeline. So again, continue to watch things here in the Weather Center. You can see these blues, you can see these reds coming together on the Doppler algorithms. This isn't going to be quite as aggressive as some of the other areas were earlier on because we got debris signatures right after. That's not doing that because it's not right gate to gate exactly, but definitely could be getting some of the strong wind coming down to the surface. If not, it's just above the surface here for sure. And this will be a threat here maybe as we look into toward Lafayette County if this holds together. We'll see what the other surface decides over the next few minutes because sometimes in these setups here, they might think this might not be translating as much here at this point, but with all the history we've had, I have a feeling they might just have to err on the side of caution and go with another tornado warning. This is south of US 27, US Highway 27. This is northeast of US Highway 19. Where we're talking about the worst of the spin right now on the Doppler radar technology, on the Doppler algorithms. Again, just not want to give up here. It just has these storms just have a chokehold over this area and toward parts of our region. Same obviously goes for Pensacola. It does seem like we're seeing a little bit of progress finally around Pensacola there. A little bit of progress after just so many hours of treacherous conditions out there. You're finally starting to maybe see it kind of lose the heaviest rain, lose its stranglehold over that area there. But I mean, it's too late though for a lot of neighborhoods that have just been flooded out here. It would seem around Pensacola and Escambia County. As we go back over to the east now, again, that's where we started streaming and things just got really dramatic in our area with tornado warning after tornado warning popping up over stuff that initially wasn't really getting these red boxes and purple boxes at them. We've had, again, tornadoes touching down, large tornadoes touching down in Taylor County, multiple ones here in the overnight hours in that vicinity. So, not good. Continuing to watch things. We're at 3:58 right now. I know we still have the flash flood warning. That'll go out until 7. That's going to be an issue here. Remember, turn around, don't drown like you have to out toward Escambia County, Santa Rosa County there as well. problems in that region. But here, looking southeast of Perry, again, this is a pretty tight spin. It's a little bit different of a spin than some of the others where we were getting debris signatures right after, because this is a little bit broader away. So that could be precluding us a little bit here. But we just have to keep watching, keep tracking. We're continuing to give you guys the very latest here. Continuing to give you guys the very latest. I know so much has been going on here. So much has been happening here. Yet again, across portions of our area. So, I know, looking out. Let's go back to Pensacola. Well, okay, it's 3:59. So, let's jump real quick here to Pensacola. We'll jump back. I mean, you'll see what changes maybe on the radar one way or the other. But this is just so much rain. Even in the last hour, south parts here, 1 to 2 more inches at the minimum. Some spots more like 3. I mean, it's under desert some. And then the last 12 hours, and some of that even really in a lot lesser time than that. I mean, we're talking about a foot of rain pretty much over all Pensacola. And the water doesn't have anywhere to go, and it's gone into people's homes. It's gone into people's businesses. This is not what you want to hear about. Not what you want to hear about, obviously. People have had to be rescued there, obviously, because of the rapid water rises. Just extraordinary. Back to the east now. So, Weather Service in Jacksonville is now talking about they're monitoring the storm west of Suwannee County moving east. The storm has a history of circulation, and the Tallahassee office has been issuing tornado warnings on it. If the storm holds together, it'd be reaching far western Suwannee County around 4:30. So just a heads up there in that regard. So at least for a moment, I mean, there's not a new tornado warning, but it looks like it's tightening up a little bit on us here. That latest scan, I mean, it looks kind of like it could produce a tornado anytime still. Southeast there of Foley in Taylor County. Again, for the brief second that we're at right now, we only have the 1 tornado warning. That's for near that. Was producing a tornado earlier on, but I don't think is now. But again, this right here, I mean, with the history we've had with these storms, I feel like the new tornado warning could be just a matter of seconds away. So can't be letting our guard down there. That could be getting toward Lafayette County as well. We'll have to just see exactly the trajectory. Again, Jacksonville's watching that here too, because they sent out a special weather statement for some of this action at least coming their way. Yeah, so we're just going to keep looking at this. So crazy to set up. And the one thing that we might have to look at here, as this gets a little bit longer out without a new tornado warning, is the instability. But I mean, it's still a pretty good amount of instability here. I mean, still over 1,000 joules per kilogram, so I might not really be precluding it that much. I mean, you see all these different spins. This is the last hour. That one going southeast. We had the other one going northeast. Okay, new tornado warning now, unfortunately, coming out. We had other spins. We had one on the ground for 30 minutes. We had another tornado touchdown. Yeah, it's been crazy. They've been just waking up here with us. But a new tornado warning out at 4:30 for portions of Lafayette and Taylor counties. At 4:01, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Perry. So this is headed here. Maybe ultimately, Mayo could be in the path. You got to take shelter on Mayo. Maybe go south of you. But these storms have not tracked in a concise direction here in this type of event. So tornado warning now for Taylor and Lafayette counties until about 4:30 this morning. So possible tornado here in this area. Again, I want to take those tornado precautions. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado here. You see that wind, that latest scan looks a little more like wind one way, but still maybe really strong wind. Let me go ahead and see what we might have in terms of power outage updates now out of Taylor County. A lot of this stuff hit rural areas that were the debris signature so vigorous. So let's just kind of see what we might have now. I know we're not seeing a high number yet, but that could still change. Only about 35 customers despite all this. But that may not include some of those more rural areas and may not include Perry yet because of the time. I know, speaking of Escambia County, though, almost 8,000 customers in the dark there with the treacherous night they've had there. Toward Pensacola, a historic night there, storms there. As we get back over toward the east, I'm still seeing some really strong wind out of this. Really strong wind here south of US Highway 27. Again, continuing to watch things here in the Weather Center at 4:03. on this Friday morning. Again, we've been with you for a long time now in this type of setup because of the volatile nature of what's happened. It's all about protecting you. It's all about protecting your friends. It's all about protecting your family. So, again, that's what we're trying to do here at Clouds Weather. Do all that. As you can see here, you can see these blues. These are winds that could be upward of 80 miles an hour on that one mode. Other mode not as strong. If this isn't hidden, we're in better shape because we haven't had the debris pop out like we have so vividly in some of the other areas. But just have to keep watching here, keep tracking. Again, monitoring these situations here. You can see the kind of the track on this here over the next little bit, potentially the south easterly like trajectory. Let's go back on over to our other mode. Again, watching rotation tracker here. Again, we still have this tornadic situation in place. So we're at 404 right now. Since we're not confident that we have a tornado on the ground at this moment and we got it past Perry, I don't like taking many breaks at all during tornado coverage here, especially what's been going on this week and tonight with, these touching down. I am going to take just a couple-minute break to try to catch my breath here. I get nervous doing this because it almost feels like it's trying to wrap back up again now. We had that one scan that looked a little more positive. This one looks a little more adverse here. Southeast and east of Foley there, east of Foley. Again, however you want to pronounce that there in Taylor County. Again, this is headed in toward Lafayette County next little bit. Right now, this tornado, if it's on the ground, could be here around County Road 360, around areas there like George Connell. You kind of get the idea. Again, that's the storyline there. No debris popping out yet still, thankfully, but just can't be letting our guard down here with this. You have this adverse situation that we're dealing with in the middle of the night. Let's go back on over here to our other mode. You can see the lightning. You can see the lightning here still. At least maybe that's waking some folks up if they weren't already awake. They're turning on their devices. They're finding out about the tornado warnings that have been in play and these threats that have been evolving. Let's tune back out. I want to see you guys some other stuff. Of course, we had the flash flood emergency situation around Pensacola, but then we had the really extreme winds moving through areas of Louisiana. These winds here are just causing a lot of power outages, from Monroe there. And then, these are ones that are really problematic, and in theory, they could eventually get closer toward our area. We'll see. That's another thing to contend with later down the line. But right now, been watching here the flash flood emergencies off toward the west there, and then our tornado threat around here, even a flash flood threat there around Perry as well. So, looking here at some of our latest scans, possible tornado closer here now. As we get down on a street level map, and again, George Connell showing up the, I assume, roadway there. Maybe that's what that's referring to. It doesn't specify our system, but just kind of reading off what it's showing to you guys, to you guys at home. Again, monitoring things very, very carefully here. You can just see here we're tracking this. Hopefully this goes south of Mayo, and hopefully it just falls apart, but who knows here at this point. You're under 21 on Mayo, so you want to be really either taking shelter or ready to take shelter there in Lafayette County. In that area, it is headed into Lafayette County. It's just a matter of if it's going to actually miss Mayo or not. But again, you can see here a situation that we're in. We're still seeing winds maybe 80 that one direction. We're not getting the gate to gate though, in some ways, which could mean either the winds are just aloft or we're getting some strong straight line winds down to the surface. So again, a really serious situation though, what we've been encountering tonight towards some of these different areas across our viewing circle. Let's go back on over here. Our energy values, we're on the edge of them, which hopefully will be hopeful. It's a sign of hope here as this gets further away, and the neutrino parameters are just high enough. They've gone in so far here. They're mixing around and causing some problems. Obviously, a lot of problems with these type of values in play. So in the nocturnal hours. So going ahead and looking at things here, giving you guys the latest. Let's go on over to our infrared. Look at those cold cloud tops there, and then you see the other area. So I started around Pensacola where we had the flash flooding emergency, and in this other area where you had just the really extreme wind events and a lot of power outages. Northeast parts of Texas there tonight being reported. Okay, we got a new tornado warning now, so this is going to be for portions of Lafayette and Taylor until 4:45. I'm not sure. Let's see what are they doing here. Okay, they're just okay. Actually, they're seeing there's another spin back toward the west now. Then, I mean, I'm not really seeing. Okay, I kind of see it a little bit, but it's not overly pronounced here at this point. Let's go ahead and go back. Let's go back here. Now this spin and maybe right over Perry then is what they're trying to say here. I'm seeing that here on a Doppler to some degree, maybe right over town. So they're seeing that here very quickly. So at 4:08, I said the thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Perry, moving east at 30 miles an hour. So mainly rural areas of west central Lafayette counties, Lafayette County and northeastern Taylor County, including the following locations: Pineland, Townsend, over toward Smith. You have the airport area in there again. Hampton Springs, you kind of get the idea. I know Hampton Springs might be on the back side of this spin, but again, continuing to watch it here, continuing to give you guys the very latest in this type of setup. Looking at all of our different products to try to verify things here, as this is just kind of riding along enough instability, it would seem, in these more favorable tornado parameters to be problematic for us. So again, kind of what we're dealing with right now. A rough night here, obviously. It's been a rough week, a rough night here toward portions of the area. So again, we're at 4:10 right now. 3 tornado warnings in play. Didn't have any formal tornado risk going in the night here. Now we've seen just a slew of tornado warnings pop up here in toward these areas. Unfortunately, it was just stuff for the state over the Gulf. Instead, it's doing what it's doing, and what it's done is producing a lot of damage, at least in rural areas, based on the debris signatures. We had multiple large tornadoes touch down here. Believe it or not, if you're just waking up, not maybe in the most populated areas, but that'll still be something to determine here in terms of how many homes may have been hit here. But it seems like Perry itself, the first tornado, it wasn't concrete if it touched down there, and the second threat here coming on in, we're not sure about it either. So maybe that's a little bit of good news. We'll see. Again, maybe spin right here around Carter Street again, Alvarez Street, take Souter again, Quill Street. Another tornado threat here. You have Park Street there. A dangerous situation in toward that area. Again, take those tornado precautions. This one seems more robust and more likely to produce a more significant spin, though, down toward the surface. So again, you just got to be kind of cognizant here of what's going on and taking those tornado precautions, interior room away from windows, putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So kind of where we're at right now at 4:11 on this Friday morning, on this June 16th, 2023. So we're required to stay on. We have these tornado warnings in play. That's why we're talking to ourselves here, really in a very long sequence. So that's what we're doing. Our computers, they're running as hard as they can as well to keep up with all the latest data coming in. Let's go back on over to our view here. You see our tornado parameters. You see the instability nosing in enough here where the action is to just cause more problems than hopefully we'll see for a long time, in terms of just having a slew of warnings like this come together with no risk really in play for this to occur, in terms of one formally put out by the Storm Prediction Center there in Norman, Oklahoma. And they had their own storms to deal with as they were forecasting for that area, of course, for the nation now too. And that's something that they had to get through there around Oklahoma City and the like. So we're at 4:12 right now in the timeline. Let's go ahead and just continue to watch things. Again, 3 tornado warnings. 3 tornado warnings on the board. Now you can see the one here. The tightest spin seems to be east of towns here, back up toward the north and west. And it's moving toward Lafayette County. Then we have other spins that could be trying to evolve here down toward the surface as well. So we just gotta be continuing to follow things here in this set of circumstances. Just a phenomenal and not in a good way event setting on up here with all this moisture, with all these spins, all these problems being caused here in the Big Bend region. So again, haven't had a debris signature in a few minutes. We're continuing to follow things. I promise I'll be right back, but I gotta catch my breath here just for a few moments. So bear with me here on Cloudy Weather. We'll be back here in short order. So we're at about 4:13 right now. We're back by about 4:19 or so, about 4:19, with more weather information to continue our tornado coverage. Don't take many breaks during tornado coverage, but we just have to catch our breath for a few moments. We'll be back in about 5 minutes here as we continue to protect you, continue to protect your friends, and continue to protect your family.
This is a Clouds Weather Alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here in the Weather Center, continuing our tornado warning coverage. I know earlier on we started to stream out talking about that flash flood emergency situation toward Pensacola and Escambia County. So serious over there, but we had to shift to our local threat that started to emerge on us here. Really came together more than what was forecasted here earlier on, and we've just seen a slew of tornado warnings here in the nocturnal hours while many people have been asleep here, and we've even had tornadoes to touch down that have been large and extremely dangerous in nature here. So not a good combination at all here of different events in the middle, here in the middle of June. I mean, it's just not what you want to see after we've already had days and days of this here. You can probably tell my voice is starting to go a little bit after talking here we've been going on and off pretty much since about this time Monday morning. Off a good bit here and there, but we had our day on Wednesday that was so full of warnings there in Georgia, especially. We had Thursday with stuff on and off, some breaks here and there that were a little bit more so in time, but now this stuff is just coming to play with the instability with the shear and produced just so many tornado warnings here in the middle of the night, closer toward these coastal areas, but inland enough now where we have Perry and Mayo involved. So this right here, I mean, you see a couple of different spins really. You have one just on the east side of Perry that could be trying to develop. Nothing's been confirmed on these here recently, but the other area here is further over. Let me go and put my mouse on the screen. We'll go ahead and try to put my mouse here on the screen in this type of setup. You can see here northeast of Perry, there's that one spin, but this one right here is the most prominent one. We'll look for debris. I don't see any, thankfully, right now, like what we were seeing earlier on. As we're right now in maybe a little more populated area than what we were further back toward the coast there. That's more rural, and there is some more rural areas in here, but especially this one, still kind of close to some population in some populated areas here at this point in northeastern parts of Perry, it would seem. So, again, just watching things and tracking them here. I mean, we have some really strong winds still showing up in here. If it gets down to the surface, we'll have problems. I mean, it says winds like 94 miles an hour here in towards some of these spots as we're looking here from Taylor County, and that's moving toward Lafayette County here over the next little bit. So that's kind of the storyline with all that here as we just continue to look at all our different data here, all the different tools that we have within the toolkit here to protect you, protect your friends, and protect your family. So again, 4:22 is the time right now. Meteorologist Casey Cloud. It doesn't matter the time of day, how long we've been going here. We're still with you for tornado warning storms moving through our 62 county area to keep you, your friends, and your family safe and informed. So again, I'm still dealing with this threat. I'm hoping this will finally start to broaden out here eventually. But it's such a bizarre setup here that we've been dealing with here in the middle of June 2023. We would have more like in the winter the jet stream dipping on down here, and then mixing with all this instability that you have in the summertime, and it's a recipe for big time problems. And we've been seeing big time problems, and we're going to have more big time problems here potentially in the hours and maybe even days ahead here, maybe a couple days at this point, but we'll wait and see on that. So again, just give you an overview. Actually, this might be kind of interesting. You can kind of, as you look at things, I'll kind of say some stuff here in just a second, but I'm going to check something really quick here before I switch over. Go between a couple of our different products here. Kind of interesting. Just wanted to get a look at some things here before I switch it on over. But again, let me go ahead and go on over to our computer right now. You can see here we have these destructive severe thunderstorm warnings. Monroe over there, further to the south. Natchez there as we're getting toward that Mississippi-Louisiana line. I mean, these are winds to 80 possible in here. And in theory, eventually this stuff could get closer toward our area. That's what the models are showing here when I had a chance to look at them earlier on before I got just full of a mess here toward Taylor County and those surrounding areas with these tornado warnings. And the mess in Escambia County that we came on for is the catastrophic flooding there, of course. They're finally starting to see a little bit better situation arise there. I know we haven't been able to use it, and if that rain keeps pushing off the coast, it might just end the stream once the tornado warnings expire here or pretty soon after. I did come up with a double box here that we were going to use for that area and show you some different things with that, but we haven't been able to use that when we weren't talking because we had to talk the whole time for the local tornado warnings that have been in play. But looking back toward the north and west here at 424 Eastern, 323 Central. This stuff's moving southeast at 60. These have been winds that have really been causing problems, really knocking out power as we've been looking back off toward the north and west there in northeast Texas. They've seen a lot of power outages. I'm sure Louisiana is seeing the similar storylines now too. Haven't checked that in a little bit, but just tracking the movement on here. So southeast at 60. So let's just kind of plot this out. So looking here at the map. So let's just see here. I mean, that may be only about 6 hours away. I mean, if I'm doing that properly here, when we've been on for so long, we're only about 6 hours away from our western counties. If it holds together, hopefully by then something will happen where it's not holding together. But you never know here at this point. I mean, with everything that we've been dealing with, because I mean, there is a pretty big area that's not getting the atmosphere worked over within it. So I mean, when southeast is 60 miles an hour, so I mean, just doing the math on that here toward our western counties again. I mean, that's about 6 hours away potentially here, the stuff that we're seeing further on out toward the west. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on that here for some really significant winds. The forecast is from the SPC here that, as of now anyway, that things might start weakening out once they get past about Tallahassee, but again, I know we went in the forecast for this tornado threat to evolve, this localized tornado outbreak. At this point, I mean, we had, I don't know if that would be the right word for 3 or 4 different tornadoes, but we're losing count of them here, and just within one county, which that really never happens around here, especially in the Florida counties in the middle of the night with no formal risk. Can't remember anything quite comparable here at first with my first thoughts, but again, just going to keep looking at this situation here. Let's get back on over to our other Doppler scan. Again, you can see some strong winds still, maybe trying to sew on up here into toward this area, moving in the direction here to areas just south of Mayo over the next little bit, it would seem, unless this switches directions on us here, like some of this stuff kind of has. Then we might have to watch some other areas, but it looks like it is kind of trying to maybe go a little bit more in terms of a turn here, make a little bit more of a turn here as we're looking ahead in toward the timeline. So that's why Mayo is under this tornado warning. It's important to respect the polygon there around Mayo in Lafayette County. So again, going to keep watching that situation there, keeping you guys up to date, giving you the latest. Again, you see all that blue here. That's a lot of wind. It could be reaching down toward the surface here potentially. So again, looking at that right now. Looking at storm total rainfall. Again, we're seeing a lot of rain in here. That's why there's that flash flood warning further back out here until about 7 a.m. for parts of Jefferson and Taylor counties. 2.5 to 3.5 inches of rain have fallen last hour. And we're talking about even more rain on top of that. I mean, just since they put that out about 40 minutes ago or so. Again, this seems to be the predominant area of spin right now. The other areas have kind of faded some. I know, looking here in the chat, I don't think they're going to extend anything back to the west necessarily, but I'll probably keep this broad warning here. It's set to go up to 4:45, so that's kind of the storyline there right now. So I know we're just continuing to watch this. That looks like it might be a little bit stronger than that latest scan. Yeah, that looks like it's tightening up again a little bit as we get into Lafayette County. You can see the blues on here. It's 85-mile-an-hour wind, possibly reaching on down. We don't know for sure, but that's what the radar's saying is possible here as we enter into Lafayette County. So can't let our guard down there for sure. Gotta still stand at a safe spot. I know with these type of threats in play and a lot of lightning around, so whenever thunder roars, you're already going indoors, and now on top of that, you have the tornado threat toward these areas here, toward these zones. So you just gotta really take heed. Can't be messing around here. When you have something you're not going to see here at night, I mean, we're at night anyway, and then we're seeing something that's rain wrapped too. So you're not gonna see it coming toward you here, and that's definitely an issue. But that's why you gotta go and take shelter into your room away from windows, putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Maybe put that bicycle helmet on, football helmet on to protect your head there in this type of situation. I know as we look back toward Perry there in Taylor County, the city there, they've been under another tornado warning. That's about to expire here just a few seconds. So that's something to kind of keep our eyes on here. We're just continuing to watch that. Continuing to watch that situation as we get these latest data points in here. That one, okay, that's actually, I'm kind of, okay, I was a little bit off there on my polygons. I apologize. We've been doing this for too long at this point over the last few days. So actually, I might keep that one because this is moving out of the other polygon. So it may end up having another polygon issue then further off toward the east because the other one's going to expire earlier. Kind of an odd set of circumstances here, but just again, trying to give you guys the very latest here. That's actually moving into an area that's for the moment, for the second, maybe not warned, but that might get warned. That's going to get warned by something again, whether it's a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag or a tornado warning. Just based on the history of these storms tonight, and that still looks pretty potent on our scans here, on our Doppler scans. So I know as we go back toward north and west here, it's been a rough night for folks in Taylor County now. Some of this moving more north Lafayette County here, and that's why we're paying attention for those folks there as well, trying to keep everybody safe and informed in this type of setup, making sure you guys are staying safe here, making sure you guys are staying safe the best ways possible, at least here as that timeline gets just later and later and later. So I know WCTV, one of their producers, is commenting here in the chat that a viewer commented on their live stream suggesting a tornado touchdown there off the Foley cutoff road, somewhere about a mile south of Highway 27. So sir, we know there's plenty of touchdowns there within the Taylor County region. So it's going to take a little while to establish exactly what did occur here on this night that I feel like we're going to be thinking about here for a little while in terms of just all the different bizarre natures of things that we've seen here in this set of circumstances. So again, just trying to let you guys know here of all these details. Still effort in everything here. Still effort in all we can, so you guys know exactly what's going on here. And just wanna keep on providing you the information here. As the southern ones on the edge of the polygon. Again, that's the area that we're really focusing on more. It's the one that really stands out. It's hard to believe that hadn't broken up by now. I mean, that shows winds at 90 miles an hour in that area. We don't ever get stuff to hang around quite this long in our Florida counties here. I mean, it's June. We're not supposed to be seeing stuff like this anyway in June, but we're seeing it here in 2023, middle of June, to remember for sure. As you can see, these blues here on the screen, some really, really volatile conditions potentially moving there. As we're looking, some of these roads don't sell because it's maybe more rural territory, but eventually maybe it'll work County Road 251 here into where this area. Just have to be kind of watching for that potential over the next little bit here with an echo like this. Okay, new tornado warning now, unfortunately, but it was necessary, it seemed, until 5:15 for portions of Lafayette and Taylor counties. At 4:33, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 11 miles west of Mayo, moving east at 25 miles an hour. So in theory, this could, because it's been shifting around a lot on us. I mean, see how it's kind of it's like twisting around, shifting around. It's trying to aim back up toward Mayo. And that's why I said it's important to keep a respectful, I'm trying to say it in a different way, but disrespect your polygon here and take shelter on Mayo. You don't want to mess around in these type of situations. They issue these boxes out for a reason, to be on the side of caution here and to give you the best warnings possible at the National Weather Service in Tallahassee. So again, rain wrapped is what this would be, whether the winds are just that winds or if they're actually from a tornado or downburst. you wouldn't be able to see it coming necessarily, and that could lead to some problems. I know we're looking here at 4:34 right now in the timeline. You can see here some very bright colors overall, and then I mean I say bright, but they're so bright. I mean, it's so strong, and eventually they're darker blues because of the nature of the winds being more like 80, 90 miles an hour. But again, that's kind of your storyline there. We got a new tornado warning. Still looking for debris in here. Not seeing that in the last little bit, but again, this is a tornado warning for portions of Lafayette and Lafayette and Taylor counties until 5:15. I know. Let's just kind of look at this in case it does hold together here. I mean, we have to start watching over maybe Brantford here, past maybe 5:15. We'll have to wait and see, and then you start looking at maybe for Southern Columbia County or Northern Gilchrist, and maybe into Alachua. But I would really hope by then our parameters are broken down. And this is just something that we think about in the past, but that would be that. So let's just think about the damage and the people impacted. But I know there may still be some rotation around Perry back side here. But again, this is the area that sticks out like a sore thumb with the 80 to 90 mile an hour wind sewing up here. Again, people went to bed around Mayo, not expecting this really, and now it could be here getting closer toward their area. So if you know anybody in the Mayo, give them that phone call now. I think we're at that point now. You need to wake people up if you know somebody in Mayo in that vicinity. Tell them to get to that tornado safe spot because we've already had history with storms tonight of nasty damage signatures there on the Doppler algorithms. So again, that's kind of where we're at right now as we're looking here even later and later in the timeline. Trying to give you guys the very latest here. You can see, just trying to give you guys everything you can here to protect you, your friends, and your family. We're going to go ahead and keep looking at things here. Keep watching all these scans. I mean, these are winds 90 miles an hour plus, maybe trying us up on this mode. This mode here more like 60 miles an hour, but nonetheless, pretty nasty weather is what we're talking about here. Still seeing some upscale growth on our ZDR product as well. Again, this is Mayo we're talking about in parts of the area. In the eastern Big Bend here, you need to go ahead and take shelter on Mayo. Go ahead and take your tornado precautions. I know it's still a little ways away, but I think it's about time to go ahead and do that just to be erring on the side of caution here. You don't want to wait around a really long time in case it's like decides to speed up here for whatever reason. We've had this pattern so crazy. This pattern just been so crazy already here, folks. I mean, you never know exactly what's going to happen. So let's just go ahead and make sure you get in shelter. Let's make sure you get in shelter here. And now as we look back toward the west, things are improving around Pensacola with the current rainfall situation, but it's just been disastrous with all the rain. And I take the tornado warning thing off again so I don't confuse anybody. And I know we have the time on here for Eastern. We have tornado warning in our area still. So they're seeing, I mean, way over a foot of rain all around Pensacola here seems to be the story. And that just causes big time problems there for people around Escambia County. All sorts of water rescues, and it's been a treacherous night there. It's been a crazy night here with these tornado warnings. I mean, in both areas we could be talking about people getting really hurt. I mean, in these type of setups, we already know, based on a report earlier with the tornado that touched down, a parent tornado that touched down around Pensacola earlier on in the night, that a tree fell on a home, and WER ABC 3 there in Pensacola reporting one person lost her life from that. So, not been a great period. We had a few people, according to media report, to lose their life there in the northern part of the Texas Panhandle. And the radar coverage didn't great up there, but the tornado was caught on video. But I know something that is not necessarily something they're used to up there in that northern Texas Panhandle. Things don't generally come together like that. Things don't generally come together like this here. Things don't generally come together like what we're seeing over Pensacola, with the exception of 2014. We had that terrible flooding there then. But again, continuing to watch things here in the Weather Center, trying to give you guys the very latest to protect you, your friends, and your family. Again, let's go ahead and go back on over here now. Let's go back on over here. This is our other viewpoint. Our computer's really getting sluggish. Both of our computers at this point, this far into it, are starting to get sluggish. We don't normally have both of them get sluggish at the same time, but that's kind of where we're at here, folks. Again, trying to keep everybody safe. Is that a debris signature beginning? It may be. Can't guarantee anything though. Can't guarantee anything, but hopefully we can't guarantee anything, because if we can, like we did pretty much earlier on, that'd be a problem, because I mean something's more significant trying to emerge here. But I'm gonna keep watching, gonna keep tracking here. Talking about right in, I think it did this change on us. I think it just changed. There we go. That's a moment ago. So the scan didn't really confirm anything, but this is a really nasty wind. Really nasty wind. It may still go south of Mayo by a little ways, but can't take any chances there. It kind of keeps trying to move around just a little bit here. More than what we're used to. More than what we're used to here for sure. Again, trying to give you guys the latest here. 4:40 on this Friday morning. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center, trying to keep you, your friends, and your family safe and informed. We still have tornado warnings here in the Big Bend. We were not really expecting a tornado outbreak like what we've really seen, with multiple touchdowns here toward the Taylor County region. And things are still going here with a really well-defined spin to the east. There's still a tornado warning for Perry, technically. You still got a few more minutes. Maybe you want to stay in that tornado safe spot, but it didn't seem like things are as robust back that way. But again, in this situation, I mean, you may just want to stay there for another few moments just to be sure, but they cancel that out. So already had them clear out one time, and another spin they thought kind of was emerging. They were getting concerned about there, but this one is what I'm really concerned about here on this edge further out. I mean, you can see a northwest of Cook's Hammock there. Talking about winds closer to 85, 90 miles an hour, a possibility in here. So something to keep our eyes on for sure. As we're looking at it in Lafayette County, again, this tornado warning going until 5:15 this morning for portions of Lafayette and Taylor counties. 4:33, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located 11 miles west of Mayo, moving east at 25 miles an hour. Mayo could be impacted. It could be near Mayo around 5 a.m., but also we have Pedro Junction over toward Alden and Cook's Hammock here under this warning. Alden or Alden. I think it'd be Alden here. I'm just trying to get my pronunciations right at this late hour. Rural areas here. Trying to make sure we don't have anything touching down with debris. I mean, you can't tell 100% there. That's something that we gotta keep our eyes on. But seeing winds to 90 miles an hour, so up into toward that area would seem that's not really optimistic, or not really optimal here at this point. So that's kind of where we're at. Again, just trying to give you guys the very latest here, the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family. Let's see what our power outage map's showing now. We're going to try to effort you some of those numbers now to our Taylor County. 399 customers in the dark. I mean, honestly, because it's hit more rural areas, that's why that number is lower than you would think otherwise. But there's a chance some of those customers that might have been hit are not being tracked on there, and we still might be a little bit behind for some of these reports, especially since it's the middle of the night. Maybe not everything's coming into the reporting system. So, again, it's something to keep an eye on here for sure. Again, you can see these blues here. Looking at winds there. Very strong still. Keep going between all of our different scans. That's what I'm doing here. Our other tornado warning back to the west should go away here soon. But this one here is still going. Still going until 5:15 for parts of Lafayette and Taylor counties. I know we're still trying to keep an eye on things. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. Our computer's taking a little bit of a hit there. I apologize if you kind of noticed that, because again, we've really been going here a while. I mean, more like a tropical setup here at this point. But again, tornado warning still continuing for this area. It looks like the storm is trying to wrap back up a little bit again. Just to really amazing, but not in a good way, to see this withstanding things here as we keep getting later and later on into toward the period. So again, looking at things and monitoring things here in the Weather Center. You can see these bright colors indicative of very strong winds. Just hope they're not reaching the surface here at this point toward parts of Lafayette County. It's more at now with this, more out of Taylor with the worst of this, with this threat, it would seem. I mean, a lot of lightning out here though. Just all in this renegade fashion, in this renegade fashion here at this point in time. So something we're watching here. You see, it looks like almost like we're getting the boundary weak echo region now. That could be a sign of we get a tornado touchdown here in pretty short order. So something we got to keep our eyes on, because it seems like it's tightening up. I mean, that looks like it's preparing to really drop maybe a bigger tornado on us, which would not be optimal. So if you know anybody in Lafayette County here, you need to make sure you wake them up here if they're in this area. I mean, this could become a really mature tornado if it goes the direction it's going, in terms of looking like it's wanting to wrap up as it goes towards State Highway 51. So let's kind of see what's out here. It looks like there are some different areas here that may have homes. I'm trying to get the topography loaded. Bear with me here. Still kind of trying to load in, but again, we're trying the best we can in this type of circumstance. That definitely looks like it's trying to wrap something up here. And then we have 95 one way, we have about 15 the other way. So that's winds over 100 miles an hour if this wraps up here into something. It looks like, the way this is trying to wrap up, it really feels like it could be trying to wrap up in like a wedge tornado, a bigger tornado, if it fully wraps around itself here. And gets that spin going down to the surface. We could get a really nasty debris signature and really bad damage. So if you know anybody here between Mayo and Cook's Hammock, it's headed in this direction, they need to be told to get to their tornado safe spot immediately. Or if you're watching me from there, get to shelter. This is serious, because this could produce a large tornado at any time here, as this is in Lafayette County. Again, folks, when they're not recognizing this threat, you can do some folks a favor if you know them in Lafayette County and wake them up, because this looks like it may, the way it's wrapping upon itself, it really looks like it's trying to maybe produce a really big tornado here. Hopefully I'm wrong. This pattern is so tricky and something we're not used to forecasting, so hopefully it'll do this the opposite. But it just looks like to me that that's what's trying to happen right now. These blues here, 87 mile an hour winds one way, about 19 the other way. I don't know if it's touching the ground yet, but if these get a little tighter, we could be talking about a EF2 type larger tornado, like a wedge tornado. This is where we're headed here. If this wraps up any further, doesn't mean it will, but if it does, we could have some big time problems with significant damage here. This is a type of tornado here, especially since we're looking at things, in the middle of the night. This could produce really serious injuries based on this, the damage that's caused if this continues to wrap up like this. We don't have a debris signature, thankfully, like what we were seeing earlier on, but it's possible if this were able to wrap around itself like the direction it may be headed, it could produce a debris. Let's try that again. It's been really a long time we're talking. Maybe a debris signature more serious than we've been seeing here tonight. So again, I don't like where this is headed, but in terms of the overall nature of this trying to wrap up, it looks like it's still trying to wrap up. Northwest of Cook's Hammock here, very, very wide. How it's wrapping up here, folks. That's not great. Not good to see at all. God hope nobody's camping out here. I'm not exactly sure what we're talking about in here, but this could wrap up and really be a big problem. Could be a really big problem here as we're looking at things. I know we're almost in a spot here now where maybe the Moody radar will give us a better visual. I'm curious. Let me go ahead and see if that gives us a better shot here. Switch on over in just a second. Again, this is the one-man band, so sorry if I'm making a mistake here or there. But we've been going for a while with this covered over the days here in the past, and now we still have more threats to come here as we look ahead into the timeline. So, not what you want to see, not what you want to hear, obviously. But again, you can see that tracker the last little bit. I'm surprised rotation tracker hadn't picked up on that a recent development here that I'm seeing. So I'll be curious to see if Moody's is showing something a little bit different here. I mean, it's showing a little bit different here, but it's almost the same height, and I'm gonna kind of back this up to see. I mean, it's just showing some bright colors in here. It is a little bit different now. I'll go over to it for you guys at home. So it said that it's not, doesn't look like it's close to wrapping up on this view. We still have a really strong gate to gate, and that it could still do it. I mean, it just, I mean, it looks like it's a little bit closer there, a few scans back. But again, we just have to keep watching and keep tracking here. Keep trying to give you guys the latest information to protect you, protect your friends, and protect your family. So again, just trying to give you guys an idea of what's going on. I know eventually, hopefully, this is going to run out of steam here. What I mean by that, let's go over to other mode, run out of instability. It has the surface-based keep values there about 1,500 joules per kilogram. That is within right now. But hopefully, eventually, it doesn't have that to work with. I'm going to back this up some. We'll see. It has been running. It has been kind of coming on in, though. So it's been following it. And that's why we're maintaining this more than we would like. We've already got more energy flowing in around Tallahassee, too. It's that could be an issue for this next round as we look later on. That comes on in. I mean, we're seeing destructive conditions out there for parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, power outages, really mounting, and with the instability around, I mean, maybe it can weaken it out, and if we get some areas that aren't as full of instability because of what we had around Pensacola, but you never know. You never know. Could have a pretty nasty wind event later on today. Hard to know for sure, but just like with our tornado threat, who would have ever thought it had multiple tornadoes touch down in the middle of the night here in Taylor County, including at least a couple large tornadoes based on the signatures. So I know the Weather Service there in Jacksonville giving us an update saying the storm over Lafayette County continues to show circulation, and this potentially tornadic part of the storm is moving east-southeast, and interest in Suwannee and Gilchrist counties to continue to monitor for updates. So again, that's kind of where we're at right now. Here in this setup. This looks like it's, and on this mode here, it's trying to get a little bit, maybe a little bit tighter with the cook's hammock. Still got to take your tornado precautions here. Again, possible tornado here. Warning goes to 5:15. Just not wanting to break up, folks. It's like a nightmare, really. This stuff just does not want to break up. So let's just keep looking at it here, though. Keep giving you guys the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family. You can just see all that heavy rain there. You can just, I mean, realize there'll be rain wrapped here, obviously, in this type of situation. Going ahead, looking at some different things. Let's go back to our infrared satellite. I showed this earlier on in the coverage. Two different areas stand out. The one where we have the tornadic scenario, and that's what warning back toward Perry. But then the others, we've had this train of moisture here around Pensacola, the flash flood emergency there in play. I mean, the different ones, Gordon one, I mean, toward Escambia or Santa Rosa County, that in those county areas, you just don't like seeing that, obviously, in this type of scenario. So again, that's what we're still dealing with here at this point in time. So this El Nino pattern that we're starting to get into, hopefully it's not a sign of things to come, because I mean, we've never really had it set up quite like this. I hear a pattern in June that I can never recall seeing in history, or just in myself last 20 years, whatever. But I mean, it's just remarkable, and hopefully this is a one-off, because we definitely don't ever want a pattern like this again to set on up here around our area or around the state. Because I mean, they've just really been suffering tonight in Pensacola. Just absolutely suffering out there. The type of magnitude of rainfall and flooding they've had. But let's get back to our tornado warning for now. Northwest of Cook's Hammock. Talking about these winds still trying to want to come together on us. That's why I have this tornado warning here in play until about 5:15 this morning. Still got to take shelter here in toward this area. Interior room away from windows, putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So important to do that there. Now this tornado eventually be crossing State Highway 51. That's something to be aware of here as we're looking downstream. So just got to keep watching this, keep tracking it here across portions of the area. I'm checking some more information here right now in the Weather Center, so bear with me. I'm just trying to effort some details here because there's just a lot going on right now, to be quite honest. A lot going on, and you can hear our computer. It's been very busy over here these last several days. We don't want to see a repeat of this ever again, obviously. But we're sticking with you to prepare you guys for this potential as it moves closer toward your area. So I mean, you don't want to be caught off guard here as we're getting further in toward Lafayette County. The movement on this right now, they're saying east, but really there's a southerly component to it here as well. So again, just looking at things, monitoring the situation here, monitoring all these scans. It's just at least something that we really hope scenario like this one never repeats itself again. After this amount of warnings and amount of hours we've had to really be on top of things, but not even over. That's something we'll have to keep looking at. I mean, we still got the threat now. We still got threats as we look ahead. Just gonna keep on monitoring things here in the Weather Center. In fact, let's go ahead and check right now, and we want to try to see exactly what's going on here with the outlooks for Saturday. For Saturday, we had a slight risk out toward areas there, Tallahassee westward pretty much again. And then on your Sunday, the risk a little bit further off, but Tallahassee still under a marginal there. So gonna be monitoring all of that here, obviously. So we'll continue to watch these different spins here. Watch all of our different scans. I know on our Moody radar, it looks like it's breaking up some, which would be a positive trend. So I'm curious to see what Tallahassee's on, because that's the one we've been following all this stuff on all night pretty much. So I'm going to go over to it, but that's a good trend finally, I hope. I see they made a mistake here in the chat and called Gilchrist with the E in there instead of the I, talking about Roy Rest, and that's what everybody needs here at this point in time. They want rest because this has been a really nasty period of storms across different portions of our area. Not really so far. Cross our fingers around Stark and Bradford County, but a lot of our other counties here are really getting hit pretty hard. And unfortunately, people are trying to sleep and get rest here right now out toward the west, and instead they need to be in their tornado safe spot here in these nocturnal hours. So, and the Tallahassee radar is still insisting on a little bit tighter circulation here. It's not maybe as tight as it was trying to get. Yeah, we definitely had brighter colors before, but maybe we'll be starting to get this to fall apart here at some point. Maybe, hopefully. I mean, there could still be something that almost looks like it's trying to produce a little debris signature there, but then it kind of fades the next scan as we continue to monitor the situation and continue to track this. I mean, you see next area that could be in line here. If it continues on this trajectory, it's kind of got a little further away from Mayo with the worst again now. Still takes shelter on Mayo to be safe though. But around Hatch Bend maybe is where this could be headed in the northern Gilchrist County, maybe Alachua County, but I mean, that's still getting pretty far out there. At this point, it's moving. So let's track it 25 miles an hour. So I'm going to track it from the circulation here. I know we're kind of in more of our mode for heavy rain, so I don't have our manual tracks like I was using the other day in the coverage up. But that's about 2 hours away from Gainesville, maybe. If it were to hold together, I mean, and continue at that speed. I'm just kind of tracking that out here. One of other sources, about 50 miles from Gainesville, but headed in that direction. I mean, it's possible it holds together that long, but we're really hoping it doesn't. We hope it just will fizzle on out here as quick as possible, but it may not happen. Again, tornado warning for that 17 minutes there. Could still get extended. We still have the instability here edging on in. And then you have this here. Hopefully it doesn't keep edging behind it. And you have your trend parameters still in play as well. Causing problems here for sure. Go back on over to other mode with the Cook's Hammock here. Still watching things. It's possible tornado threat into toward this area right now. Again, this tornado warning in play continues for another 16 minutes for portions of Lafayette and Taylor counties here. We're just going to want to go ahead and make sure you guys are taking those tornado precautions here in the wilderness area. These storms tonight, at least just in general, have a history of producing multiple tornado touchdowns, including large tornadoes here toward the Taylor County area. So can't take any chances in these type of situations. Okay, new flash flood warning now been issued by the office in Tallahassee. That goes into 8 a.m. for central Lafayette County, as Doppler radars indicated between 3.5 and 4.5 inches of rain is falling in the last hour. Mayo, San Pedro Junction, over toward areas like Townsend and Grady under there too. So at 8 a.m. now, flash flood warnings. Let's see the 1 hour rainfall. Yeah, you can see all that coming in the picture, and that could be, as we look, more of an issue for Mayo than the tornado threat would be, since that's going probably more to the south. So that's something to keep in mind here as we're looking at things. I know we had a quieter afternoon in some ways than we thought, and we really, unfortunately, I mean, we had storms that come through, but we didn't have, the severe weather warning to this magnitude during the daytime, and we really, unfortunately, have made up for it here in the overnight hours and overnight hours. I don't think we'll ever forget here in the weather center as just long and treacherous this has been. So, getting some more updates here in the chat session. I know they're talking about a storm 10 miles north of Perry here in chat right now that could have winds of 50 to 55 miles an hour. Okay, so this area here now, they're starting to watch. Maybe it could get a severe thunderstorm warning, something like that, if it holds together over the next little bit. So that'll be something to watch here, possibly, as this goes closer up toward areas of southern Madison County, maybe closer to Live Oak. We'll see. Hopefully, it's just a one-off there. Falls back apart, but it looks like it's trying to organize a little bit up there now. That's why there's an advisory on that further to the north. I mean, that's in an area there north of Perry that, I mean, it still has some instability, and that's causing us problems here for sure. Let's go ahead and continue to give you guys the latest here. We're at 5:01 now. Some of you might just be starting to get up for work and really wondering what in the world has been going on here in the overnight hours. Well, we had just a horrific flooding around Pensacola, and we've had just a slew of warnings here, tornado warnings here toward the eastern Big Bend, just including multiple tornado touchdowns there in Taylor County, multiple tornado touchdowns there, and obviously that's problematic. And some of those may have been because of larger tornadoes. We're just hoping that those are mainly over more rural areas, but one of the more significant areas of debris soaring up that was picking it up for about 30 minutes or so. We may have had a tornado on the ground for half an hour moving through parts of Taylor County in the overnight hours. It's not what you want to hear about, obviously, in this type of setup. Again, we're hoping it was mainly over rural areas, but nonetheless, not a great thing to be having to mention here on this Friday morning. Again, continuing to watch things here. We're just looking at things on the Doppler. You can see the winds here north of Cook's Hammock. We're just still trying to give you guys the very latest here to protect you, your friends, and your family. Let's go over tornado safety tips here again. Tornado warning means that a tornado has been detected using radar or spotted. That means seek shelter inside that 30 building. Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a bicycle helmet or a football helmet. Also want to have shoes on in case you have the aftermath of a tornado, because you can cut your feet up there in that type of situation. You just don't want to be doing that there. If you're trying to get out of that safe spot, you could end up really having some problems there. In that there's broken glass around. So let's get back on over to this other view. So the tornado warning, at least for another 12 minutes, it seems. And we're getting an advisory. Maybe some coastal winds could be stronger later this morning here. Some areas further out toward the west. I know overnight thunderstorms, they still continue, and they're telling drivers to be careful there toward like St. George Island this morning. As a precaution, secure any loose outdoor objects even that might be blown around. So something to kind of bear in mind. One thing I'm seeing on here, and it may just be maybe a little bit of false hope that we're seeing. I don't see as much of gate to gate showing up right now. Maybe, I mean, that's dropped off a good bit actually here over the last little bit, but is it going to be enough for them to drop the tornado warning? The tornado warning here at 5:15. That's the question. This could be a pretty close call. They'll still be responsible for it for a little while longer before Gilchrist and Suwannee. That's part of Jacksonville's area of responsibility. Tallahassee's is part of the responsibility here. They have Lafayette and Taylor. So again, that's kind of the storyline here right now. Sitting here really late into the overnight hours, and this type of setup just keep getting tornado warning after tornado warning after tornado warning here with this stuff near the coastal areas here. So tornado warning still continues until 5:15 for portions of Lafayette and Taylor counties. That flying debris could be dangerous. Those called out shelter. Mobile homes could be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, vehicles will occur if there is a tornado that touches down, and tree damage in a tornado is likely to occur too, obviously. So that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. You just gotta be taking these precautions here and toward this area. Now, one thing I haven't done in a little while is give you a look at the rest of the area, and I mean it's remarkable. And I mean, to think about most of the other areas here in our viewing circle across Florida and Georgia are not really facing much adverse weather at all. I mean, you see the flash flood warnings, you see the tornado warning, and the rest of our area, most areas are staying pretty dry here at this point, but not dry as Pensacola, which has faced just a horrific night. They're never going to forget out there with just downpour after downpour after downpour. When we added them up to just, I mean, measuring the rainfall not in inches but really in feet toward Pensacola. Water rescues reported, and it's been a bad night there. It's been a bad night toward Taylor County in our area, and that kind of sums it up for now. Let's go ahead and go back on over here. Let's go back over here. You still see some rotation southwest of Mayo. Still seeing that here on the Alpha Radar view here. We're just trying to give you guys the very latest on what's happening. This is our rotation tracker to be precise, but again, it's not as tight as it was earlier. That is some optimistic news. We'll just have to keep looking at things though. Southwest of Mayo here. I know we're looking at things on our Doppler. I mean, maybe we'll get lucky they don't reissue out here. I mean, we can always hope. I mean, some of these ones look more, like winds here that would maybe require severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. That's something to kind of keep in mind. Okay, they just canceled out Taylor County, but they're keeping the warning for portions of Lafayette until 5:15. Still some pretty strong wind just south of Mayo. Hopefully it'll start to decay. But we still have that flooding threat that we've tried to better know. We also have that storm that's rotating some toward the north and west here. Not too tight yet. Hopefully it doesn't get there. Never know. In this type of setup, there's a little bit of inflow. We'll have to watch that. But again, just continuing to watch things. Continue to give you guys the latest information. This tornado warning for portions of Lafayette County till 5:15 this morning. Having to monitor things that were mainly rural areas of the indicated county, but I know you have Cook's Hammock in there, one of those different zones. I mean, you see, this is really right near State Road 51 right now in Lafayette County, so this kind of storyline there. Haven't seen debris with this here, I mean, we haven't seen debris on these in a while, which is a positive sign, but Weather Service not really taking many chances here with what we've been going through. So, again, it's been a treacherous night. Still going rotation tracker's a lot weaker. That's some good news. That's the weakest I've seen that in a long time, considering what we've been seeing here on here. So maybe that's a sign that we won't have this tornado warning past 5:15. That's at least that makes me feel a little bit better, but it doesn't mean we can let our guard down. It could still extend it to like 5:45 or 6, or even 5:30 because of the county borders there, the county warning area borders. Looking back to the west, there's another severe thunderstorm. Watch them play. Yeah, Pensacola, they're finally starting to dry out some there. They need to because of all the rain they've had. This watch goes further out because we have stuff where we're getting winds to 80 miles an hour. I mean, just really causing a lot of power outages further on back toward the west here on this conveyor belt of trouble. More storms back to northeast Texas way. I know we'll have to see exactly maybe how some of these can kind of fade a little bit. And in here around Pensacola, that'd be good if they did, because I mean there's some room for that because of all the trouble they had earlier on out there. But Tallahassee really didn't have as much trouble, even though we were getting in trouble to the east. So the atmosphere there hadn't been worked over. So we'll just have to see how things kind of maybe they'll wane and then they won't be able to regather themselves further off toward the east. But we could get instability to come back in as we get ahead in the day. I know cloud cover can kind of play a role in that here too. Let's go ahead and see infrared. I mean, we'll be wanting to watch to see exactly how that kind of sets on up. But again, sitting here at 510, you see that red box. That's a tornado warning here for parts of the market area. Again, we cover 62 counties. It's our commitment here to always be on for any tornado warning storm to move through any one of these 62 counties here. We've been doing that since late 2019, and we're live when we do this on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Twitch. I know we had to switch that information per se and just to add to the information. Once we started this out with a flash flooding emergency out toward Pensacola because we had to make our local area here the priority like we always do with the tornado warnings in play, obviously, and making sure we give you and honor that commitment to you. So, again, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you haven't already. I appreciate it. I really do. I know right now I've just been talking so long, my voice is kind of going here, but I'm just trying to make sure I give you guys the very latest information. Really try to protect as many people as I can. Let's go ahead and move away from this right now. Move away from the coverage map. And now I'm going to take off our platform information for now. I know, just trying to keep you guys up to date here on everything going on. Really trying to be on a mission to give you guys that valuable weather data, that valuable weather information on a night that has really been pretty infamous here, to be quite honest. But let's go ahead and go back on over toward our other view, south of Mayo here. Second for any debris, I don't see that. I still see quite a bit of wind energy. I feel like they could end up going severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible tag here. Don't think that's out of the question. They might be consulting with Jacksonville to see what they're leaning toward as well, because that'll be something that Jackson would they have to be issuing one later on here, and they might want them to match up. So it's going to be a little bit tougher call than we've had in a while, which is a good thing because some of these have been a little bit easier to make it seem like, and this one's a little bit more on the edge. A little bit more on the edge, so that's a positive trend, I guess. Let's go back on over the view. I'm going to switch radar again to Moody because that technically is a closer one now, as that gets a little bit further away from Tallahassee's viewpoint per se. Again, believe it or not, if you're just waking up, we've had numerous tornado warnings in the eastern Big Bend in the overnight hours, including multiple tornado touchdowns in Taylor County. A lot of them, maybe all of them, happened in rural areas, but some of them were significant tornadoes that did occur. We had the blue really showing up on a debris tracker, and the Weather Service called at least two of them there. I believe it was two, large and extremely dangerous tornadoes, PDS type of warnings at points. So, again, trying to keep you guys up to date here. Still have some broad rotation on Moody, but on this mode, I would almost feel, let me check this. I almost feel like a significant weather advisory might be the best way to go here based on what I'm seeing here. We are a little bit lower down to the surface on this. But we'll see what Weather Service decides to do over the next little bit. Keep in mind, if they let this go, there'll still be flash flood warnings in play for portions of our area. Jefferson there, South Central Jefferson until 7, along with Northern Taylor in that one box. The other one toward the east here, we're still getting heavy rain around Mayo. Just got to remember to turn around, don't drown if you're getting up early and going out to work. Make sure you're taking extra precautions. It's 3.5 to 4.5 inches of rain have fallen there in the last hour in parts of Lafayette County. So, I mean, Mayo's under this warning here because of all that treacherous rainfall. Again, you see this area here. That's when we picked up a bunch of rain over the last little bit. So, okay, they're going to go to the severe thunderstorm warning now, the tornado possible tag, as we're looking further down toward the south and east. So, that looks like that's where they're transitioning this to now. That's a positive trend, folks. That is a positive trend as we're looking down. Not the complete all clear, though, by any means. But Still a lot of rain in Lafayette County, obviously, that they're dealing with. The severe thunderstorm warning here going till 6 a.m. At 5:13, a severe thunderstorm located near Mayo, moving southeast at 15 miles an hour. Lafayette County, northeastern Dixie County under this. Mayo, Cooks Hammock there, Grady, Hats Bend, Fletcher, over toward San Pedro Junction, Fletcher Springs as well. So damaging winds and continuous cloud ground lightning is occurring with this storm. Just make sure you're inside if you're not already. Remember, lightning is one of nature's #1 killers. And then I know we have a significant advisory, a new one just coming to the east. 45 to 55 mile an hour winds is what Jacksonville's thinking right now. They can always upgrade as they need to, but that's kind of their thought process right now for further out on this. And in the north, kind of the same thing. It's a tornado warning for the first time in a long time. We don't have any local tornado warnings. That's good news. We generally stay on for the severe thunderstorm warnings here. A lot of times I'll stay on for a little longer here, but if we don't see much new here, we'll probably just go ahead and wrap this stream. Let's go ahead, since we have this down to this severe thunderstorm warning, which still can be dangerous. I mean, some of these severe thunderstorm warnings are big deals. Now, this one may be, but I'm not 100%. I would lean against that right now. That'd be the best way to describe it. It's just this one right here is kind of because things are not as intense. I know in some of these situations, though, they're issued because there's a lot of dangerous hazards. Wind and hail, but you just don't have a tornado threat apparent, but they can be deadly sometimes, severe thunderstorms. So Pensacola, now this is one of the radar views of it. Let's go to the Mobile. I haven't shown this view in a while because I've had to stick one, our Gear Level 3 computer, the velocity mode and the like. Let's go ahead and loop this. So you're finally seeing it move away from Pensacola, but not after just one of the worst nights they've had there in a long time. They still get a little more to build back in from the west, so keep that in mind, but they're at least trying out to some degree. 1 hour rainfalls look better there, but the storm total, I mean, we're sitting at a foot plus all over the place. And this color table only goes 5 plus, but our other color table that's at a foot was really kind of piling it on in there in toward that area. So that's kind of a storyline there. Checking some different things, different metrics here. Again, it's just been a really, really dangerous night there in parts of this area here in Escambia County and in our area with all those tornado touchdowns there and all those tornadic scenarios are rising. So just stuff to kind of keep our eyes on here for sure. Stuff to keep our eyes on here as we're bouncing between our computer sources. If I might have had it go black there for a second, I apologize. Not sure though, because we've been looking at all of our different monitors for so long. Again, you can kind of see we had the rotation tighten up there earlier on again, but right now things not quite as tight as they were, and that's why we have a thunderstorm warning for the first time in hours out of this instead of a tornado situation. So that's a positive trend here. That's a positive trend, but we're just going to have to keep on looking at things here just to make sure. I know Jacksonville's office will be responsible after it gets out of that yellow box. That yellow box expired at 6 a.m. So that's kind of the storyline with that. So again, a lot of lightning in there, a lot of heavy rain. So last photo warning still. I know Mayo's getting a lot of rain right now. Some of those areas in between getting a lot of rain there in Lafayette County. So got to keep that in mind. Looking at our latest scan here. And just around Cook's Hammock, maybe some stronger winds showing up there. Maybe some stronger winds. So just be aware of that. As we look over the next little bit, maybe gust upward, I'm seeing like 55 miles an hour here on some of our different modes. So you got to just keep that in mind. But hopefully we'll be turning the page into tornado threats here pretty soon. And the nastier wind threats and just get back to the summertime storms, which still can be bad. But we haven't had them as much this year. Somehow we'll probably end up turning that around here at points. But it's just been such a weird pattern. You know, just bizarre stuff. But okay, so we're still watching this Cook's Hammock here. So with thunderstorm warning, tornado possible tag. Moving down there toward Hats Bend eventually here over the next little bit. So that's kind of your storyline here right now. I'll still be reviewing all the issues arising from the flooding out toward the west. There around Escambia County, the tornadoes in our area. And then all those storms toward Texas, Louisiana, causing a lot of power outages. Up to see how this holding together for later on in the timeline as well. So that's kind of how we are at here and what we're at here at this point in time. I know it seems like stuff's moving more east in Mississippi right now. Let's go back and move this over. Seems like some of these are moving more easterly, so I wonder how that's going to affect things. If it maybe it'll just somehow get in the more stable area and kind of fall off. But see, these kind of more in that conveyor belt type of fashion, they'll dip back down and try to get more energy here because that's just this pattern that we're in, this bizarre pattern that we're in that we really want to get out of. But let's go ahead and go back over here. We have a little bit of rotation still south of Mayo, but not as tight as it was, which is a positive trend in the right direction. Just looking at things here. Still got, again, some winds maybe possible that are gusty around State Highway 51. So that's something that we'll be monitoring. So we'll have to just see if we get warnings down here. But right now they're going with an advisory for 45 to 55 mile an hour gust here. I mean, it only goes to 6, so we'll see if they have to expand that into maybe a warning here for parts of Gilchrist later on. We'll be keeping tabs on things here, and if we see stuff that's more concerning, I promise we'll come back on here. But at this point, I think, I know we started the stream with the other threads, so at this point, I'm just going to go and wrap it up here. I don't want to just kind of keep it going with that, with focusing on this, because the stuff's already gone off the coast toward Pensacola now, finally. It took a long time, but it finally did. So I think at this point, we're going to wrap the stream up. Severe thunderstorm warning still continues in our area. Flash flood warnings still continue here. If we get more warnings, if they're not tornado warnings, we'll make sure to post about them. We may come on if we need to, but if we do have tornado warnings, we'll make sure we are on for the very latest to protect you, your friends, and your family within our 62 county area. That severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Dixie County, parts of Lafayette County until 6 a.m. That's what we're talking. I know we hadn't really talked much about Dixie, but it does kind of edge into that a little. And later Gilchrist County, and to be watching. Don't leave your guard down around Gilchrist, and even a lot to just in case this tries to hold together enough here. So just keep that in mind as we're watching things in the Weather Center as we continue to monitor things here from our headquarters in the Bradford County region. So that's kind of what we're watching. That's kind of what we're tracking. I just hope people had ways to get alerts. I hope people had ways to get alerts there out toward the areas where we had the tornado warnings tonight. And hope everybody's as safe as possible in these type of setups. So I'm gonna check one more time because we don't have any type of rotation coming on in here on us. I mean, as I look at this over here, it actually does look like it's trying to tighten up a little bit again. Is around Cook's Hammock now. Not really tight, don't get me wrong, but a little bit of tightness trying to sew up here. A little bit of spin. And that's something to watch. I mean, if it tightened up too much more, they might have to go with a tornado warning. But again, we're just continuing to watch this here. Just like we are, that rain that fell, and mainly getting out of the Pensacola area for now, but all that flooding, all that damage caused toward Escambia County in the Florida Panhandle. Such a big deal for those folks. Again, watching a little bit of weak enhancement here on Cook's Hammock, so got to keep our eyes on that. A little bit of an embedded hook, I guess you could even say there. So that's something kind of noteworthy. I know I hate to have to jump off here and then come right back in with cover. That's why I'm kind of sticking around just a little longer here, because we don't have a tornado warning. We don't want to have a tornado warning here pop up, and we have to jump back in here real quick. But a little bit of weak rotation here right around Cook's Hammock in Lafayette County. We're watching the progress of this. Looks like that to kind of spin back down though. Again, we're watching our scans. We're keeping our eyes on things off that Moody Air Force Base radar sight around again. 051 here, Florida 51 in toward this area. Again, we still have the flash flood warning to the north here. All that flooding again. Escambia County, even in the parts there of Santa Rosa County, flash flood emergency situation, and we had flooding in some other areas in North Alabama. Not as bad necessarily, but still important to kind of keep tabs on in these type of situations. Just checking Cook's Hammock here. Again, we don't want to be in a situation where we have to jump off, jump back in. So Just zoom out a little bit. You can see everything here. I mean, we have the 3 different focal points for now. The storms in our area, the flash flood emergency situation over Pensacola, and then the next round that could be coming in with those destructive severe thunderstorm warnings west of Jackson, Mississippi. So those could be around 6 hours away if they, depending on the trajectory they take. If they head more east, I mean, maybe that'll take it a little bit longer for some of those to get into our picture. But I mean, we'll see for sure. But I mean, we'll just continue to watch things, continue to track things here in the Weather Center. In fact, just still watching things here on that Doppler that's been trying to sew up a little bit east of Cook's Hammock. That's why I hate to get a new warning and have to jump right back in here. So the thunderstorm warning technically goes till 6 o'clock for parts of Dixie and Lafayette here in our area. Let's remind you where Dixie County is here on our coverage map. Let's go ahead and go on over there. You'll be able to see where we're at there. Lafayette. You can see that where their position is. West of Swanee, pretty much. Dixie there is more west of Gilchrist. Just going to do scanning. It looked like, I don't know if velocity's come in quite yet. Okay, it has. That's a little bit further apart and a little bit less bright. So that one's still not updated. Now it has updated. And no debris. So we still got to see if a thunderstorm warning in here. Still be careful. There's another area up here. Okay, that's not really much. I don't think that's more just the way the boundary is. So we'll keep watching things. We'll post warnings if we need to for severe thunderstorms, flash floods. If those are more substantial, we'll pop in, obviously. And tornado warnings we're always going to be on no matter what here for our tornado warning storms moving through our 62 counties. So that's going to do it for now. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for trusting me. Let me leave you with the big picture since we led here, and that was the plan to talk more about the flash flooding toward the west. We did talk a good bit about it, but obviously our focus was on our local concerns like it always will be here. We have tornado warnings in play across our local counties. So for now, thanks for sticking with me through the night here. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud. Thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me.